Then, but then, here's another question: why didn't you do it yesterday?
Did you already have a sprint open when you started singing?
Yes.
Okay, I got nothing.
I know you're trying. I'm not frustrated with you. I'm frustrated with the technology. That is not why I am frustrated. Okay? No, you are not. Stop assuming that you are. That's not wood, that is plastic.
It's closer than that. That is plastic.
Listen here, you. Your technicalities won't. There you go. Alright, since now it seems that the fucking link wants to work and everything else is working, we can finally get down to business. To defeat criminality. We can't defeat the Huns, because the Huns are... I don't know. Alrighty. Showdown time. Cards again. I lost. It's only a game of poker. A game I've played for a long time, and only lost twice. Who was the first? The man I killed, of course. Oh! Well, it seems I found the partner I've been looking for all along. Over a game of cards? Why, yes, over a game of cards. That was how it was 7 years ago. We finally good to go? We finally are good to go. April 19th, 9:27 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Woo! Okay. It's been a long time since I felt like such a rookie. Gotta try and relax. Yeah, good morning, Mr. Enigmar. I'm sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly. I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure I'm prepared. I understand. I am asking the impossible. Yeah, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards. And that was enough. Actually, it wasn't. Trust me. Oh, morning, Daddy. I'm so glad you came. I'm not. This is your child. You okay, Dad? They picking on you? I am fine, as always. This old boy is here to help me, after all. That's young man to you. Good morning. Good morning. That's a cute outfit you have on. Thanks. My first show's today, after all. Oh, I'm sure it is. What the heck is she talking about? Oh boy. Huh? Me? Look what he started. Here. It seems Faye's clock will make me wait a little longer, at least only less than 10 swift minutes remain. To all those who have supported my life's work, I give thanks. Magnifique Gramier. What's this? Oh, I just got it over there in the hall. He told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with spiky hair. They said it was really important. What's this? A memo for you or some such? Not from the looks of it. What is this? Looks like a page from someone's diary. I'll give it a read later. Well, how do you feel about the trial today? We'll get through it somehow. Incidentally, the prosecutor today is a new guy here. Body found in hospital room, shot in the head. Cause of death, single gunshot to the head. Estimated time of death, 11 to 11:30. Okay. An easy win then, yeah? And they're calling him a true thoroughbred in history of the prosecutor's office. Of course, there's one of those every year. The switching of attorneys just before the trial. I know it's a difficult situation to put you in, but allow me to say one thing, Mr. Wright. Yeah? They will not be able to pronounce me guilty today. So do your best, but do not worry. First time a defendant's ever given me a pep speech. I'll do what I can. I see you do not understand. You see, it'll be impossible for them to declare a verdict. Impossible? Yeah, isn't that right, Trucy? Yep, you bet, Dad. My first look at the case was only yesterday, and the information I was given was a tad bit lacking, to be honest. Still, I'll do what I can for their sake. I believe the curtains will be lifting any time now. I am in your capable hands, Mr. Wright. My client is Shady Enigma, known to the world as Zach Gramier, a widely popular magician, star of the troupe Gramier. His mentor, Magnifique Gramier, was a rare breed of a magician. He single-handedly ushered in a golden age of stage magic until he was shot dead. And Zach Gramier is the suspect. Court is now in session for the trial of Shady Enigma. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Is the prosecution ready? I was just thinking, is this what all the fuss is about? Bit of a buzzkill, really. Buzzkill? Is this some kind of new crime? One of the worst. This trial, yeah? Where are the sweaty palms? The pounding hearts? A governor's concert got 10 times the thrill this gig got. Who are you again? Clavier Gavin. I came to get the party started, legally, yeah? Gavin? Defense attorney Christoph Gavins? Figures my bro's more famous in this part of town. Clavier Gavin? Lead singer of the mega hit band The Gaviners? You're out of your league, rock boy. I know what you're thinking. You're out of your league, rock boy. True, my debut single 13 years, Hard Time for Love, went platinum overnight. But that's just a hobby to me compared to this, yeah? Talkative, aren't you? I like your affected Euro rock accent, by the way. I'm just getting warmed up. Hair attorney, right? Perhaps you would be so kind as to finish it on the case. Come on, baby. Time to call in the opening act. What was his name again? Ah, yes, Detective Gumshoe. Hit it. Oh, boy! And you are? Hey, you were the one who called me up here, sir. My name's Dick Gumshoe. I'm a homicide detective down at the precinct. Detective Gumshoe, long time no see. Hey, you! Huh? Me? Today's your day, pal. Today I win, and you lose. I got confidence in my testimony today, see? What? You normally lack confidence in your testimony. Hair detective, this is my stage. Can the antics. Huh? All this hey-youing and such. And I could care less about your history together. Very well, Detective Gumshoe, if you would. Please tell us about the case at hand. It happened 6 days back in a room at the General Hospital. The facts are as simple as they come. Here's the crime scene. The victim was a patient asleep in a hospital bed. The killer comes in, puts a pistol to his forehead, and bam! Lights out. Them's the facts. Not so long ago, the victim Magnifique Gramier was a famous man. He had the entire country under his magical spell, as it were. Ah, yes, the great magician. He retired years ago. Say the name Magnifique to one of my generation, and you'd be lucky to get a blank stare. Yeah, so I'm sure the youngsters today know his disciples even better. I dare say Truth Gramier has made quite a name for themselves. Anyhow, the retired Magnifique's been in the hospital for the last year. What was it? A more ignorant tutor or something. Doing something to his liver, I think. Yeah. A malignant tumor, perhaps. In other words, he had liver cancer. He had only 3 months left to live, in fact. The facts do seem simple enough. But something's not right. The victim was already climbing a 3-month stairway to heaven. Why not wait for him to knock, knock, knock on heaven's door? Why shoot him? I wouldn't have put it quite so lyrically, but it's true. Why make the effort to commit murder when the victim was about to die? Incidentally, the victim had a serious case of diabetes. Diabetes. In fact, he was about to shoot up with insulin. When he was shot with a pistol, the syringe was found in the crime scene. Chronic diabetes and cancer. As much as it pains me to say it, the victim was clearly at the end of his life. Okay. I believe the question before us is clear then. Why did the killer have to shoot this dying man? What reason could he have had? Very well, Detective. Perhaps you can enlighten us as to the circumstances of the shooting. Yes, sir. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead. The bullet was fired from the pistol found at the scene, no doubt about it. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. What? You're saying the victim ordered his own shooting? Those are the facts. I have here the letter in question. To my beloved student Zach, to you I entrust the task of lowering my life... What? I wanted to read that. My own life curtain, come on to the 13th, 11:05 p.m. I will be ready with a gun with which you will shoot one shot. Square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Very unusual indeed. Although, could such a thing as a letter really cause one to pull a trigger, I wonder? I believe the answer to that question can be found at the end of the letter. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Detective Gumshoe, can you explain this to the court? Unfortunately, even the defendant won't say a peep about that bit, yet. One thing bothers me about this. Why didn't he just say 11? Why have him come at 11:05 without some specific reason? The devil is in the details, Herr Attorney. Well, was there some reason? As it turns out, there was, every night for a half hour starting at 11. The victim, Magnifique Gramier, was given an IV. An IV? There it is in the picture, off to the side of the bed. At 11, a doctor would come to set up the IV. 30 minutes later, he would come back for the empty bag. This happened every night without fail. So that was the only time they can meet without the chance of an untimely interruption. During his IV. Very well, shall we begin? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you would. What's this reason he couldn't refuse, I wonder? He could have at least mentioned it to me. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. Okay, but why? A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead. How can you be so sure? Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself. Get that noggin cranking. You fail to grasp the concept of questioning, Detective. First, we got this letter. It says shoot in the forehead, loud and clear. I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it. Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal. You fail to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, Detective. We also found a defendant's pistol at the scene. Traces of gunpowder residue shows that it had been fired recently. Well, Mr. Wright, far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim. Photo, maybe there's something in there I can use. So if they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead, I think there's a hole in the prosecution's argument. Clearly, Mr. Enigma. Wait, why is there a hole in the clown head? Why is there... Wait, hold on. Why is there a hole in the clown head? There's a hole here and a hole here. What the fuck? He shot something else. Looking at this photo, another possibility occurs to me. Yes? What does the letter tell us? That the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse his teacher's wishes. Bingo, pal! That's why the defendant popped him one in the forehead. Oh, the defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make.
Objection!
What? And you can prove that with this photo? I can prove he had a choice, yeah. The defendant might have fired like he was ordered, but he didn't shoot the victim's forehead. Well, let's hear what you're thinking, Mr. Wright. If he didn't shoot the victim's forehead, what did the defendant shoot? The clown?
Take that!
The clown doll? Take a closer look, see? It's been shot in the forehead, too. Ah, there's a hole in his forehead. Yeah, and a hole in the prosecution's claim.
Objection!
Ha! And I suppose you have a reason as to why he'd shoot the clown doll? He didn't just shoot the doll, he shot the doll's forehead. His forehead? Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead, which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead. The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead, it definitely looks like it was shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter.
Objection!
I admit, I'm impressed, but I expected nothing less. Still, this doesn't mean he didn't shoot the victim.
Objection!
Perhaps he did have to shoot a forehead as ordered, but the letter says nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he had to follow his orders without taking a life. The bullet hole in the clown's doll's forehead does demand an explanation. That might very well be a clue, yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. It alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. You cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim. So sorry, Mr. Wright. How sad is to see the mighty fall? How sad is to see the novice's overconfidence? He doesn't realize just how big this little hole is going to get. Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue your testimony.
Hold it!
You mean this pistol, the one in the crime scene photo? That's the one. It's a funny-looking gun, so there's no mistaking it. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with the bullet fired from this gun. The rifle markings of the bullet were a perfect match. So you verified the murder weapon, in other words. You bet we did. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir.
Hold it!
How do you know that? Why are you so certain? What pile of sand has you had been stuck in all this time, pal? You never heard of Jacques and Valen's quick draw shooting? Huh, what's that? One of the defendant's specialties. Jacques and Valen stand on either side of a girl. Then they shoot. But the bullets don't hit her. Instead, they hit everything else on stage. This is one of the pistols that they use in their show. Got a great design, eh? Kids love it. Many boys and girls join the police because of that pistol, I hear. You know, that would explain a lot about the police force. Troop Crummy has stopped doing that act a while ago. The old man held on to that pistol ever since. Why did they stop?
The court would like to see the pistol in question.
You got it, sir. Here she is.
Well, this is surely a blast from the past.
It's a stage pistol for magic shows, see? But it can fire real bullets.
It looks so much bigger in real life than on TV.
Yeah, but it can only hold one round. By the way, the pistol's firing chamber is empty, and it shows traces of having been fired recently. So, were any fingerprints found on the gun? Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. We might say that a lack of fingerprints is in fact a fingerprint of its own.
Ah, intriguing point. Well made.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Not well made, not intriguing!
In any case, the court accepts this evidence. My grandchild will get a kick out of seeing this. But now it's time to return to our testimony.
I do not want to think about the judge having sex. You mean to tell me this motherfucker had sex and produced offspring? What the fuck? So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim, pal. If you look closely, you can see how the pistol's made to bend here. It's a one-shot, only model. I guess the bend is where you load it. So this is the famous Gramier Golden Gun? They say kids used to love pretending they had one of these. I wonder if they pretend to miss their targets, too. Wait, it only loads one bullet. There's 2 bullet holes. It only loads 1 bullet.
Objection!
The trickiest case often seems the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed the bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have come to a very different conclusion. Understand? Yeah, but like I just said, pal, after he shot the clown in the forehead, he went...
Objection!
Did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not.
The murder weapon? How?
It's quite simple, Your Honor. This pistol only holds 1 bullet at a time. If he had shot the clown in the forehead, he couldn't have shot the victim too. Yeah! That's not a contradiction. Not even close. All he had to do was reload the pistol after the first shot. Oh, where did he get the extra bullet? They're not easy to come by, you know. If you claim the defendant had one ready, then prove to us how he got it. I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this party's just getting started. And I haven't proven anything yet beyond my good looks and startling record sales. An utter lack of humility.
Hey, what's this? Seems that the prosecution has another witness prepared.
Like I said, Herr Detective, it was just the warm-up act. Now that the audience has gotten a taste of what's to come, they're ready. Ready for what? For my decisive witness, of course. A witness who you will find can prove one thing for us. That it was Zach Gramier who shot the victim in the forehead.
Very well. We will pause for a 15-minute recess.
This might be my lucky break. I'll need that 15 minutes to talk to my client, Zach.
Court is adjourned.
Okay.
Very impressive, Mr. Wright, I have to say. I expected nothing less.
We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually.
I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better let you discover the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know.
I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened?
Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. The old scare-trucy.
Speaking of which, where is she?
You have seen the problem yourself, the letter.
The one shot in the forehead. The one, right? Yeah?
Yeah, the reason he speaks of. I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death.
Why not?
This is something I will not say for now, at least.
What's this for now business?
I have done many things in my life, some well, some poor. But this is the cross that we must bear alone to our graves. We? You want to know about the night of the incident?
Finally, this guy sure likes to take his time getting to the important stuff.
Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor.
I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time, and found there upon his bedside I tabled 2 pistols.
2? Yes, the one I had used on stage, and the one that had been used by my partner, Valent.
Oh, for the Zack and Valence quick draw thing, right?
My mentor had the look of one sleeping. He stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then for a moment.
You faltered. You mean you thought about shooting him?
Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first.
So there were other requests you couldn't refuse before.
To be honest, I've not always been steadfast. I fear I brought pain upon Trucy.
Was Magnifi coercing his disciples somehow? Just what was going on in True Grammare?
Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket.
In your pocket?
I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you'll find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those called?
Rifle markings.
Yes, well, that is all I have to tell you concerning the case.
Concerning the case? You mean there's something else you can tell me?
You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright.
Thanks?
Yes, there is something. My mentor, his eyes opened.
What? Magnifi Gramier?
The old devil, he was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him anyway. And there we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion, maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
What did you talk about?
Mr. Wright, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case.
Zack Gramier, he seems pretty steadfast to me, or maybe just stubborn. Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom?
But once again, I am in your hands.
Right. Let's get back in there.
Court is now back in session.
During our recess, a bullet was found in and dug out of the clown's head.
Well, this is news. In the rifle markings?
There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis, though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon.
Well, that's not very conclusive, is it?
Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness. Your decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think. Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production, being the other half of True Grammary's famous duo, Zack and Valent. Valent Gramier. So we get to meet the great Magnifi's other disciple. Hey, guy. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation.
Valent Gramier, magician. You're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student your partner's guilt?
Fate, the grand illusion, filled with traps and tricks. But wait, the shooting took place in that hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late?
If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes.
Okay. I always get the characters, don't I? I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this.
That looks very familiar.
Wait. That's the same letter Zack Gramier received. Yes, or perhaps I should say, ta-da!
Order! And what does it say? Surely not the same thing.
Perhaps you should see for yourself. It's the same day, it's just a different time.
Why, it's practically the same. The court accepts this into evidence.
Jesus Christ, this trial's going fast.
It is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? What exactly was your true Gramier up to?
By which you mean...
I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less.
It's just my opinion, Herr Judge. But from those letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them.
We took the magician's path together, and in so doing shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is a strain, a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand.
By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse.
Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Gramier, stands accused. Tell us why.
Oh, I'll do more than that.
For where he walks, the red roses rise singing hymns to the miracles that is magic.
Fascinating, though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as a suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene.
In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time.
As every magician knows, timing is everything. Yeah. And now it's time to get this party fired up!
Maggie?
That night, I visited the hospital room at the time of Magnifi's request. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final blow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. Then I informed the doctor and the police.
So you were the one who reported the crime?
Indeed, I would think. This fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. Let's not jump to any conclusions.
Yes, a cross-examination generally comes before the conclusion of this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zach Gramier, is guilty.
If it wasn't Zach Gramier, then the killer was you, Valant. And no disappearing act will get you out of that. I mean, it's so obviously him. On his request, smell of gunpowder. Same instructions. I gave to the clown. I gave to the clown. There were 2 bullets at the scene, one on the victim and one on the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you? No doubt my partner Zach has said much the same thing. Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed murder. I'd better dig around here a bit more and see what I turn up. Mr. Valant, let me ask about something else concerning the crime scene mainly. There were 2 pistols. How many pistols were there when you entered the room?
By which you mean what precisely?
2 pistols were used in the Zach and Valant quick draw shoot 'em, correct? 1 for each of you.
You are well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night.
What did Zach tell me back in the lobby?
Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time, and found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. I took the pistol I had, fired, and placed it in my pocket. I see no problem with that statement. Only 1 pistol was visible in the photograph of the crime scene after all.
So you picked up that pistol and fired it?
Indeed I did. Alakazam! Alakazim! Alakaboo! Is the number of pistols really so important?
Yes! The number of pistols is quite important, Your Honor.
Very well. Please add this detail to your testimony.
What can I do but obey?
Only 1 pistol was in the hospital room that night. With it, I shot the clown.
Oh, motherfucker, you are dead to rights. According to the defendant, Zach Gramier, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on that table.
2?
One of those pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead, then he left with it in his pocket. Of course, this is what he would say. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume our defendant has some brains in his head. Well, what about what Mr. Valent has told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense.
What might that be? I told you, I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown.
That's your story, at least. But the rifle markings tell a very different story, Mr. Valent. Recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us. We compared the bullets taken in the victim's skull with a bullet fired from this gun. The rifle markings in the bullet were a perfect match. Mr. Valent, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead.
Order! Well, this is all rather sudden.
What have I done?
Prosecutor Gavin.
I owe the court an apology. Sorry. Sorry for what? You see, I was unaware that 2 of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifle markings only proved the type of gun that fires them. But that's not what you told us before. You said you verified the murder weapon. Which is why I'm apologizing to you now, quite sincerely, I might add. Would you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth? That was just this morning. I am still young, and I might add it wasn't really my fault. If the defendant had only admitted he took 1 pistol from the scene of the crime, we would not be having this pleasant discussion now.
Alan Gramier? Yes, Your Honor. You were presented to this court as a decisive witness, but you've proven to be more divisive than decisive.
Objection!
You'll see in time. The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next.
You care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin?
When Mr. Valent entered the hospital room, the victim had already been shot. As his next testimony will prove, Herr Wright, the real fight is about to begin. I spooked my cat. I spooked her. Gave her a bit of a spook.
Help us determine who shot what.
Boss is still... Judge is still blinking, but can't hear boss.
I had arrived in the hospital room at an appointed time, which is to say 11:20 p.m. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death at 11:10 p.m., and the one in the room at the time was my partner, not me. Those times are rather close, you have to admit. You're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use a 10-minute discrepancy as the basis of your alibi.
It is easy to explain the situation here, Judge. For example, take our Time debut hit single 13 Years Hard Time for Love. Cue the song, press the play button, and it'll play for 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Do it 100 times, the result is the same. Their debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds? What a ripoff. Magic is a world of utmost precision. Hocus Pocus requires admirable focus. And in time of death, determined by the doctor, there is an incontrovertible truth.
Well, very well, the prosecution warns us that we're dealing with a rather precise time, so we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision.
It's been 10 years! Shit, no wonder I feel old. I would hope the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusations, lest we blur the focus this case so clearly demands.
Point taken. Baseless remarks will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright.
Carry on. Right. Clavier looks hot. Oh, don't worry. Our resident Clavier simp has acknowledged this. I didn't need to say it because she already did for us. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10. Details, please. I don't think I'm stepping out of a limb to say I have some doubts about this. How could the doctor be so precise with the time?
We do usually only get an estimated time of death. I'm not sure I've heard of a verified time of death. Magical deals in making the complex appear simple, but reality is the opposite. What appears complex in this case is simple matter of subtraction. I see no other person has done this arithmetic homework.
The point here is the IV the victim was taken. It's quite visible on the photograph of the scene. Recall what we heard earlier about the victim Magnifi Gramier's schedule. Every night at 11, Magnifi took an IV drip for 30 minutes.
I can see the IV bag, yes?
Now look a little closer. Follow the tube down from the bag to the end.
The needle's been removed.
Doubtlessly, it fell out when he was shot.
That would seem to be the case.
When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips. You could just measure the remaining IV liquid. But precisely. The IV liquid functions for our purposes as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determined the time of death. From the amount of remaining in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes after administration began. But time of death was around 11 to 11:30. So, and he showed up at 11:20, which means there was approximately 10 minutes. So, yeah, no, Valent's full of shit.
And so it was when Valent entered the room. 10 minutes had passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof. Well, Mr. Wright.
Did that seem important? Yes! Well, seeing how it is the biggest clue we have to the time of death, I'd say it's very important.
Agreed. It would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Oh, the power of arithmetic! Very well. The witness will add this detail to his testimony.
Sometimes the magical
It's the most magical things of all. Is that true?
Hold it!
Did you notice the IV yourself by any chance? When I first entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then his left arm did I spy a rose dropping and wilted. His thorn, the discarded IV needle. Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot, luckily for you. If that IV had not been there, why, you might be a suspect. Undoubtedly so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky color. Your lucky color? Indeed, even today I will proudly pawn my suspect self. For it is always without fail brings me luck. Why, when Zack and Ballet won their first Magicians Grand Prix? Yes, the very one held by the Association of International Magicians. I was adorned in this attire then too, and a trophy a bust. What a day that was.
Hold the fucking phone. What color was that IV? Valiant, you are full of shit, you motherfucker.
This is one trip down memory lane no one needs. My lucky color, yes indeed, and that IV too. I say I think 'twas used especially for me, Valiant. That does seem to be the case, indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, any thoughts on this testimony?
Valiant sure looks happy with himself. Okay, how about this lucky color testimony? There's a contradiction. It's not yellow, it's green. Certainly sounds like your lucky colors brought you plenty of luck. Not this time. Mr. Valiant, your lucky colors betrayed you.
I am afraid you've lost me.
Your Honor, the witness's testimony just clearly now contradicts the evidence.
What? Please recall my warning at the beginning of this cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Baseless accusations will be duly penalized. I do hope this lady's accusation is well-based.
Don't worry, I've got all our bases right here.
Very well, let's hear the defense's claim. Where is your evidence that contradicts Mr. Valiant's told us?
Take that!
The crime scene tells all, Your Honor.
A photo of the crime scene?
All this talk of color has me yearning for black and white, clear-cut simplicity. Tell us, Herr Wright, just where's the contradiction in this photo? My pleasure, and I assure you it's quite simple. But I can't promise anything in black and white.
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. It's green!
Fuck you! It's green! Valiant Gramier, let's get this one thing straight about your lucky color. It's yellow, yes?
Kinda takes the mystery out of it, but yes. Something wrong with yellow, Mr. Wright?
Yeah, there is. Decisively wrong, in fact. Take another look at the photo of the crime scene.
What's this? Confusion? Now tell us, what do your elderly eyes spy? Even my elderly eyes can see a problem with Mr. Valiant. Look at the IV bag. Ah! What is this? What? Fellow magic?
It would be hard to call the IV liquid yellow. And I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph.
Alaka, no!
Bunnies!
Order! What does this mean?
Attention!
This is some kind of mistake!
Yes, Prosecutor Gavin, your witness's mistake.
The greener they are, the harder they fall. I suppose there's no substitute for experience. Valiant Gramier, as you reminded us several times, your lucky color is yellow, but the IV is clearly not.
Well,
This contradiction can mean only one thing.
Attention!
Fuck off. And to think you almost had me. I see your true colors now, Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright.
Is something you'd like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin? As far as this court can tell, the witness's testimony does contradict the evidence.
Yep. Yes, a contradiction. One that I shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright. How do you mean? How? Because the witness has made no mistakes. I agree at a glance the IV liquid appears as a sort of greenish yellow. but I assure you the liquid itself is quite yellow.
Yellow liquid? How can you say that?
As far as you can tell from this photo, green. Yes, but what color is the IV bag itself?
The bag? You mean the plastic bag on the hook? It looks like I want to say a light blue.
Precisely. Figured it out yet? Put a yellow liquid in a blue bag, and you get green. That is dumb as fuck! This, incidentally, is the liquid's true color.
I see. Your explanation doesn't have a ring of truth to it.
Objection!
As I thought. There's no substitute for experience, Prosecutor Gavin. What? You may tell a good tale, but you've just proven something rather grave for you, that is. Grave? The liquid in the IV is yellow, yes. But how did this witness know that? It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You did think about it, didn't you? Your Honor, the defense requests an explanation from the witness. At the scene of the crime, the IV liquid appears to be green. So let me ask, how did the witness know the IV liquid was actually yellow? Alakazum! There we go. Oh yeah! Oh yeah, best song.
Mr. Wright, you will explain this at once. The witness clearly knew the color of the IV liquid. So I'm sure it means something, but what?
I can think of only one possibility, Your Honor. The witness, Valent Gramier, has testified that the IV liquid was yellow because he obviously seen it before. From the facts before us, the answer is clear. The witness knew that the IV liquid was yellow. Why? Because he'd seen it before, but not inside the blue bag we see in the photo. He saw the liquid by itself in a clear, colorless bag.
I suppose he would have had to, but I'm still not clear as to what this all means.
Ask yourself, why would he know if he didn't work at a hospital? That's where you'll find your meaning, Your Honor. I'm afraid I find nothing, so what if he knew the IV liquid's color? Leave the getting excited over absolutely nothing to our Tenny Bopper fans, yeah?
Objection!
The IV liquid is the only evidence proving the time of death. A 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. Your claim, Prosecutor Gavin.
I remember it well.
However, there's a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag.
Wait, I know. An hourglass uses sand, but IV bag uses liquid. I'm right?
As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honor, no. Unlike the sands through an hourglass, IV liquid enters the patient's body, at which point, like magic, it disappears. Let me get this straight here, right? You're saying the witness watered down the victim's IV bag? Not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you knew the IV liquid was yellow.
No, wait! I said wait! How might an amateur such as myself essay to perform such a task?
Objection!
I'm an amateur too, but I can pour water into a cup. I'm afraid there's quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag. Quite. Can you prove your witness is capable of such a feat? I tire of these fairy tales lacking evidence.
Well, Mr. Wright, any solid evidence to bring us back down to earth?
Valent Gramier, I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime.
And might I ask what you're strongly suggesting?
Magic relies on props, and props become evidence. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in the bag. All he had to do was work a little magic, and the prop was... staring me right in the face. An insulin needle is still a needle.
Take that!
The victim's syringe.
It's the perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick, and easy enough for an amateur to use. What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it.
Objection!
And don't you find that odd, Prosecutor Gavin? What? The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Well, Valant Gramier, as you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes the perfect clock. One that you could manipulate at will. Alakazam!
I do believe, well, with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin. I'm afraid that while there is a doubt as to the amount of IV liquid in that bag, the time of death cannot be proven. And that brings our trial to a close for today.
Well, maybe I can squeeze in an extra day out of this. Do a little much-needed investigation work.
I see there are no objections. Court is adjourned.
Truly, there is no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively. A word to the wise, underestimate the young and they'll sweep your feet out from under you. In a way you never ever expected. You see, I know exactly what you're thinking. What's he talking about? You say the witness used the syringe to manipulate the level of IV liquid? But there is no proof. There's no proof he didn't do it either. Yeah, quite true. He's admitting it? Nor was this witness quite as decisive as I'd hoped. This, I admit, after all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much?
You have something in mind, Prosecutor Gavin?
Proof, Herr Judge. I have another way to prove my case. With evidence, no less.
What's this?
This is the victim Magnifi Gramier's diary.
Diary?
After going into the hospital, Magnifi began writing his memoirs, it seems. The story of his birth, his startling debut, and of the meeting his disciples. It seems he intended for the last chapter to end quite appropriately with his death. Wait, that book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't refuse his last request? Sadly, it does not. What's important here is on the last page. Apparently, the victim wrote in his journal that night, even after the IV had begun at 11 p.m. Let's read it, shall we? Tonight's IV in maybe the last. I leave the rest to them. The first should come. But not long depends on...
This does appear to have been written just before his death.
Wait, did we get a piece of paper? Okay.
The court accepts this into evidence.
Read the very last part with particular care. This journal may end here, or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his aim. Of course, by his, he refers to our defendant, Zach Gramier.
Yeah, it would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor, after all.
But look at what he said before that. This journal may end here, or it may go on. It may go on. Magnifi Gramier is intended to write again. That is, if Zach Gramier didn't pull the trigger. I see the defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on. It ends. Because Magnifi's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Zach Gramier.
Order! Prosecutor Gavin, are you certain that Magnifi Gramier wrote this?
There is no mistaking his handwriting.
Well, this does seem to be significant. According to this, Magnifi did intend to continue his diary. Yet if his diary ended here, which plainly it did.
Then the one who pulled the trigger was the first visitor, Zach Gramier. Well, how do you like me now, Herr Wright? Still too green for your tastes, He's right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he'd overlook such an obvious problem with this precious evidence.
The witness's testimony we heard was lacking. But put together with this evidence, it seems quite sufficient for the case.
If the diary is accepted like this, the trial's over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something. We have the missing page. I'm left with no choice but to show my own evidence.
What? You have some evidence that overturns this diary?
It's not too late to rethink this and avoid more embarrassment. Fuck you, Clavier. Incidentally, you don't even think of showing us this diary I've just shown to the court. Now that we've come this far, I hope you have something a little more decisive. Show us evidence that proves the victim's continued writing his diary. Alright, I'd be happy to. The decisive evidence provided in that diary didn't end with this page. It ended with this one. First, take a close look at the diary. Note that page has clearly been ripped out.
What's this? I hadn't noticed that at all.
That's why we're still here talking about this. As it just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page. I don't believe it! Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that the first visitor that night shot Magnifique Gramier. That's the defense's position.
Wait, let me see that. What in Sam Hill? Why, this is the continuation of the victim's diary.
Oh no, did I just get forged evidence? Oh no, is this what sinks me? Note the torn edge of the page. It's a perfect match with the torn remains of the last page of Magnifique's diary. Quite remarkable. Would you care to explain what all this means, Herr Attorney? The diary continued after his first visitor came. Which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Gramier left, leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor. Valant Gramier! No! No!
The handwriting, too, matches that on the other pages. Is without a doubt the genuine article.
No, he didn't submit that. We were given that by Trucy. But wait, that's impossible. That old man couldn't have written that. Finally. You just couldn't resist, could you, Herr Wright? Oh, God. We gave forged evidence. Oh, my God. Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Herr Judge?
Yes, Prosecutor Gavin?
Might I request you put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness.
But Prosecutor Gavin, this evidence overturns the current witnesses.
I ask only to put it on hold. Please, my new witness has a very, very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes, no more. I promise.
Well, if you put it that way. Mr. Wright, what's your take on this?
Well, Your Honor, judging from his enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later anyway, so it might as well be sooner.
And though this is highly irregular, we'll put the current cross-examination on hold. The witness may step down. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring the surprise witness to the courtroom.
I had a bad feeling just then. That ripped-out page was too obvious. He must have known. We gave forged evidence! I should have known it was a bad sign all around. You motherfucker!
Holding trial with no audience is a first, even for me, Prosecutor Gavin.
I beg the court's understanding. But I had to make a judiciary deal with the witness to secure his testimony.
A judiciary deal?
The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. I thought it best to contain the information in this room.
Very well, and you are the witness, I gather?
Yes, sir. State your name and occupation for the record. My name's Drew Misham. I'm a painter.
A painter? You are somehow related to this case?
No, well, not per se. I have one simple question for this witness. Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is? Oh, yeah, I know it well. How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before? Oh, yeah, I mean, I made it. You... what? You made it? Yes. You might call it one of my works. The prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday. Illegal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Zach Gremery.
Illegal evidence?
I initiated an investigation and found this witness. A painter to the world at large, Drew Misham has another side, you might say. He is skilled in making perfect reproductions of certain things. Forgeries, in other words. Forgeries?
Well, so we ought to understand that this page here is...
a fake, prepared by a certain defense attorney. Hold it! I didn't prepare this evidence! Ah, the attorney speaks. Something about this page, I presume? But what is he saying? It makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Phoenix Wright.
Witness, Mr. Misham, was it? Who requested this forgery? Who was your client?
That... I don't know. What?! Well, most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. I make the items they want and receive my payment. That's the extent of my contact.
Objection!
But... there's no proof this is fake! Yeah, it's a fake. Huh? To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. I can say without a doubt, this is mine.
Mr. Wright, you have just presented illegal evidence to this court. My court.
It was careless of me. That's all I can say. Oh boy. Here. What's this? I don't know. This guy over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important. It was a trap. A fatal trap.
Mr. Wright,
Yes?
do you have an explanation for yourself?
If I did, would the court hear it?
Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime. And presenting it in court is a serious mistake. A fatal mistake for an attorney.
Fatal too, perhaps for your client, I fear. Tell me, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence? The answer is quite clear. A guilty one. Your Honor, wait! I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is a serious crime, but you cannot hold my client responsible for actions I undertook as an individual.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright.
Your Honor? Another close call, I dare say? If the prosecutor's office had received that hot tip, everything would have gone the way you wanted it to, yeah? I even gave you a chance. Too bad you decided not to think before embarrassing yourself.
I see no need for further discussion of this matter. Special witness dismissed.
Mr. Attorney? Yeah? Could I ask your name? Phoenix Wright. Mr. Wright. I've seen and studied many people, but none like you. I'll remember you, Mr. Wright.
Though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict in this way, this trial is over. You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must.
Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Zack? There is one thing I wish to make clear. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. It is impossible.
The problem isn't that they can't prove that I forged it. That's not the problem here. The problem is that I was tricked into showing
One death
forged
to society
evidence.
later.
Thank you for the donate. The problem here wasn't that I forged the evidence or that they can prove that I forged it. The problem is that I showed it in court, which is illegal. Because if you show forged evidence, it brings down the whole case. Because now, what is actual evidence in the case? It doesn't matter in this courtroom that if I forged it or anything else. It matters that Phoenix showed it. It brings the entire thing to a crashing halt. Hence why, in this universe, instead of getting a retrial, they just go with this straight guilty verdict.
I most certainly have the authority to declare a verdict on you. Except, tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict when your defendant does not exist? It doesn't exist? What are you talking about?
I am talking about this. Yeah, but Von Karma had a lot of sway with the prosecutor's office. Mr. Enigmar! The defendant escaped! Find him, quick!
Bailiff! Close all exit from the building! On the double! He must not be allowed to escape!
That day, in that courtroom, a miracle occurred. The defendant, Shady Enigmar, aka Zach Gramaray, did not just escape from court. He literally, unbelievably vanished. Right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again, not since that day. This is the Gramaray miracle! Ha 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 ha! What the fuck? No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. That's how it happened. The trial of magician Zach Gramier vanished along with him for all eternity. The mysteries that remained behind were all solved, however. Not until 7 years later. We showed forged evidence. Holy shit, Phoenix. That trial 7 years ago was the beginning of it all. This I know beyond a doubt. The mysteries of the past work their magic on the present. But you'll soon be finding all of this out for yourself. Which of the Magnifique Gramier's disciple pulled that trigger? Where did the vanishing defendant Zach Gramier go? What dark truth lies behind the forged diary page? And what about the girl who was left behind? The past left us with these 4 keys to unlocking the truth. That's not all. There are 4 keys in the present as well, and when all questions have found their answers, the final trial will begin. But first, you must chase the truth through then and now. Think of it as a game. I, Phoenix Wright, will be your guide through this game. That terrible trial saw me presented forged evidence. It ended half finished when the defendant vanished. What became of me after that, and as your investigation proceeds, the answers will become clear. Oh, and one more thing. There is something I must tell you. As Apollo Justice has his bracelet, so too do I have my own weapon of sorts. My Magatama. What does it do, you ask? That I would have you see for yourself. Well now, shall we begin? Use Q and E to jump between the past and the present. But let's begin 7 years ago, in the past. It is right after my last trial came to an abrupt end. Now that you know the game, let's play. Alright, Phoenix, let's play. To change the present. The nightmare trial was over, and the new nightmare of figuring out what had happened had just begun. I wanted to wake up, to walk away, but I figured I'm the only one who could do this, probably. Besides, I had plenty of time, thanks to the Bar Association's Review Board decision.
It's hard to work when your attorney's badge has been taken away. Oh, a strange sight doth my eyes behold. Excuse me? Two men on either side of a single transparent pane. Yes, it seems fickle fate has switched sides, so to speak. The forger of fakes walks freely, while the innocent languishes within these plexiglass confines.
There's been no proof that I forged anything.
No proof that I took the life of my dear mentor. Yet these chains cannot hold me for long. The stage awaits. And what, may I ask, awaits you?
A little piano and a cold little hole in the wall.
Since you are here, what shall we discuss?
The shooting of Magnifique Gramier, for one. Who pulled that trigger, Talent? Or his partner, Zach? His partner vanished before the answer could be found. If I'm going to get any closer to the truth, this is the first place to start. Holy shit, this is really involved. This is actually really involved. Holy shit. Okay, I wasn't supposed to choose this one. Okay, so I do have a guide for this one, because holy shit, this is involved.
Ooh, morning, Daddy.
I'm so glad you came.
You okay, Dad? They're picking on you?
I am fine, as always. This old boy here has helped me after all.
That's young man to you. Good morning. That's a cute outfit you have on.
Thanks, my first show's today, after all.
2 weeks have passed since then. I called her into my office. Trucy, there's something we need to talk about. It's been 2 weeks since your father disappeared. We need to start thinking about your future. I did some calling around. It's hard to say, but you have no living relatives. So, I was wondering if you wanted to stay with me for a while. Just until your dad comes home. It won't be long. I hope. Of course, it's totally your choice. If you don't like it here, you can go wherever you'd like. I could look up some places you might like to stay at. This is so weird.
Mr. Attorney, Daddy told me about you. He said I could trust you.
Huh? Really?
So if I stay here, does that mean you'll be my family?
I guess so. Getting weirder.
Mr. Attorney?
Actually, why don't you call me Nick? Or you can call me Dad if you'd like. It doesn't have to be today or anything.
Okay, say Dad.
That was quick. Yeah?
If I move here, I have to switch schools, right? And I was thinking, I haven't paid for lunches at my last school for a year. So thanks, Dad. Oh, in this office, it's a little blah. A little color goes a long way, you know. Oh, and Dad, you got fired from work, right? Don't you worry one bit. I'll work twice as hard. We'll make it through this.
Trucy, how old are you?
Oh, I'm 8. But don't let appearances deceive you. I'm a young professional. Stick with me and you'll do just fine, Dad.
Thanks. Why does it feel like she's already in charge?
So, Dad, you got fired for being a lawyer, right?
You could at least kind of look aside at fight or something when you say that. It's actually kind of hard for me, for Dad.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. Oh, wait, is that foolish pride? My other dad always used to talk about that.
Actually, that's pretty accurate.
So here's my idea. We'll make a new office. Law just seems so stiff, doesn't it? No one will be my friend at school that way.
Well, that won't do, I guess. I just don't know how much about anything other than the law. I don't even much about law, if you were to ask some people.
Maybe the problem is calling it an office. We should run an agency instead.
You mean, like, talent agency? And forgive me for asking, but doesn't that require talent?
You've got me, don't you? I'm a professional.
A professional?
Yep. After all, I am directly descended from the famous Zach Granier.
Directly descended. He's your father.
Oh, and now I'm directly descended from the famous Phoenix Wright, too.
I think an 8-year-old just massaged my ego. Could you tell me a bit more about your dad? Zach?
Dad? Sure.
Which daddy was that again?
Dad's so amazing. The biggest star, Troupe Granier, and they're big.
The Grammieres. They were on television a lot. Haven't seen them on much recently, come to think of it.
Big magic happens when you put Zach and Val and Granier together, you know. Once they made a giant waterfall right there on the stage. And this giant trout swam up the giant waterfall.
Well, let me guess. There was a giant fisherman waiting for him at the top.
I wish I could have seen more of Dad's magic.
I shouldn't have brought it up so soon.
I wonder what will happen to me with Dad and Mom both gone.
Mom? Yeah, what about Mom? I haven't heard anything about Trucy's mother.
But I have magic and a great dad, even if he is unemployed. You know, I think things are going to be okay.
I wonder if she'll talk about her mom. So, Trucy, you're a professional?
Yes, it's like that thing they say. Baby frogs grow up to be frogs.
They say what?
I always thought it was funny, though.
What was?
Aren't baby frogs called tadpoles? Maybe they thought it would be easier to understand that way for kids. How stupid.
Right, so in conclusion, you're a professional magician, Trucy.
That's right. Well, want to see a trick?
You're going to do a magic trick? Show me. Actually, I would like to see your trick. The future of the agency depends on it, after all.
That's the spirit. Ready? Here goes. Ta-da! Hey, folks, it's Mr. Hat. I gotta say, it's good to be seen.
Yeah! Whoa! That was startling.
The amazing Mr. Hat, isn't he great?
Oh, it's so cute! You can see her, playing with it under the cave. That's cute.
Our friendly neighborhood Mr. Hat at your service.
He certainly makes an impression.
Doesn't he? I'm so glad you like him, Dad.
You know, my routines do get a bit heady at times. Ha! Get it? Heady? My friendly neighborhood Mr. Hat nearly gave me a heart attack. Could you tell me about your mom, if it's okay?
Mom was so pretty. She was like an angel up on stage.
On stage, you mean? With your dad?
Yep! She was always there with Zach and Valiant smiling. But then she went away.
Went away?
It was a grand illusion, but she made a mistake. She vanished, and I guess she didn't know how to get back.
Maybe so.
I cried then a lot, and that's when Dad gave me this. Here.
Okay. This is your mother? She's beautiful.
Her name's Thalassa. Thalassa Granier.
Poor girl. I didn't know her mom had gone missing. Now her dad's vanished too, right before her eyes.
Hey, Dad, you won't...
Don't worry, I won't vanish, I promise.
Right! You can't even do magic. You're like a backup plan. Dad always said to have a backup plan.
I guess all I rate is a backup plan. I think that's probably enough for today. Sorry to ask so much all of you at once like that.
It's okay. After all, we're family. I just hope you're ready. The Right Talent Agency opens tomorrow.
What? But are we representing anyone?
Me and you. That makes two, Dad.
I think you need more than that to make an agency. Besides, you may be a magician, but I'm no talent.
I'm sure there's something you're good at.
Well, when you put it that way.
You mean you don't have any tricks? No old standbys? This will not do. A boy should always have a trick or two in his pocket.
Okay, I'll think of something.
That's the spirit. See you bright and early tomorrow, Dad.
Welcome to the team, Daddy-O! Team. Right. Sometimes when magicians vanish, they leave something behind. That's how Trucy became Trucy Wright, my daughter. To be honest, I was pretty lost those first few days. Thinking back on it, it was a pretty dark time in my life. But Trucy, happy, smiling Trucy, she was my light. Okay, what next?
Didn't have me back here for a while. Didn't want to have to remember that day. You know, I deeply regret having to declare a verdict in this way. This trial is over. Ah, Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Zack? There is one thing I wish to make clear. Today in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. What are you talking about? I am talking about this.
Mr. Enigma? The defendant's escaped! Find him, quick! The bailiff, close all exits from the building! On the double, he must not be allowed to escape! When I came here on that fateful morning, I still had my badge. But now, like an amputated limb, I can still feel it itching. Where do I start? I don't even have the authority to investigate. Hey, you there, sir! Down in the hands! Floor on the head! Now, now, now! What's the big idea? My ears! No unauthorized personnel aren't allowed in here! But that would mean all unauthorized personnel are allowed. Zoink! I just say it like it is, Sean. It's usually wrong. Thrown out of the precinct, lost my friends, my girl, and even my wallet. We've met before, haven't we? On a case 2 years ago. No recollection of that, sir. Huh? For me, working on a case is always in the present progressive tense, sir. There is no past, there is only now, sir! Okay, you're the bailiff, right? Yes, sir! Court Bailiff Mike begins at your service, sir! I've asked to meet with the bailiff at this court who let the magician escape. Let me try to make this absolutely clear as possible for you, sir. It was me! But you were a regular police officer once. Something bad happens to good people, sir. Someone tells me it's a long story. Let's not go there. So you were in charge of security at the time of the vanishing? I'm dying over here! Oh, it's hard to knock life, sir! Thrown out of the precinct, lost my friends, my girl, and even my wallet. Guess I wasn't the only victim. The last time we met, you were a police officer, right? In fact, you're still wearing your uniform. Sir, I wish I didn't have to tell you this, but last year, tragedy struck a rising star at the precinct. I lost my case files 4 times in 3 days. They fired me. That takes real talent, actually. They don't know what they're missing. And so here I am, sir, forced to start from square one, the lowly bailiff. But your uniform. I took it with me as a souvenir the day I was fired. That can't be legal. So, you were the one who let the magician get away that day? I'm dying over here! A star rises among the court bailiffs, full of hope, then tragedy strikes. Is there anything you can tell me about it? About Zack Grammier's disappearance? Oh, the humanity! That's enough of that. Why, yes, I'd say it was around 2 p.m. when I heard a commotion in the court. I opened the door to see what might be amiss. The door slams open, slam, and some guy's face is right there in front of me. Face! So you saw someone suspicious coming your way. Yes, and being a bailiff, a little standing, I gave chase. I chased that silk hat all the way down the hall, sir. I have a diagram of the court building here. There's a courtroom number 7. That's where I was. That's where I was, sir. All by myself. Nary a friend to call my own. Okay, which way did Zack Grammery run after bursting through the courtroom door? He went up like this and around the corner like that. So I, with no delay, ran after him with no delay. When I turned the corner, I saw that magic man run to defendant lobby number 2. Swiftly I ran. Following him, I threw myself boldly into the room. Why, I remember it like it was right here because it was lobby number 2. You ran into this room? I don't see any place to hide in here. Believe it or not, sir, I didn't believe it. Here, this room, the magician, gone, vanished like a puff of smoke. Except there wasn't even a smoke! He was just gone! That's impossible. Yes, that word, but many times I have said that word! Even the sound, it causes me indescribable pain. I'm dying over here. Okay, I won't say it again, I promise. But you have to admit, it's difficult to vanish into thin air. Did you search the lobby? I searched. Why the pause? There was nothing here at all, sir. That's right, nothing was here, sir. How can he talk so loud but still be hiding something? So Zack was in the room when he vanished. Absolutely, sir. I saw with my own eyes. The red silk hat, that flowing cape. He ran right in here, right inside this room. Silk hat, cape. That's Zack, all right. Sir, look at the room. There's not a single place to hide. Sir, there was nothing I could do, but nothing, sir. What about now? Have any ideas? Sir? Ideas about what exactly, sir? If you don't mind me asking. You've had quite a bit of time since then. Has nothing occurred to you at all? Do you have any idea what trick you might have used to disappear like that? You son of a bitch. Psyche locks, I should have known. My Magatama, one of my most prized possessions, which I got during a certain case. Show me the locks of people's hearts. If I can unlock their hearts, they'll tell me what their secrets. That Magatama starts it all. The Magatama ends it. Oh, shit. Hi, I'm new, and the first thing I saw was Meekins. Fuck! Welcome, Partial Bullet! It's Meekins. Okay, Mr. Meekins, what do you know? Spit it out. Hey, what's with the atmosphere in here all of a sudden? You know something, and I'm gonna find out what. Zack Gramier vanished from this room. How'd he do it? How, sir? Well, sir, I can't say it. Sir, why are you so nervous if you weren't hiding something? Well, sir, if you see at the time, sir, I was here and... Listen, I was impossible. What could such a little girl possibly do anyway? What did you just say? Sir, did I just say something, sir? No, you screamed it through the megaphone of yours. There was someone else in the room, wasn't there? Sir, I'm happy to invoke my right to remain in the state of not talking. It's okay, Meekins. You don't have to tell me who Zack's accomplice was. I know who was in here in that room this day. Trucy. Sir! Ah! I never seen that girl until this the other day. Mr. Meekins, I'm not buying it. Sir! Sir, that day she was here in that room, sir. But he wasn't! You mean you chased her into this room, not him? Sir, in my days as a police officer, literally days, I learned a thing or two. Okay, just one thing, but it was not how to mistake a girl for a 7-foot-tall magician. 7 feet? Zack isn't that tall, is he? You have a point. I find it hard to imagine that anyone would mistake a little girl for Zack Gramier. But you saw something, and therein lies the trick. I think you know what it was, Mr. Meekins. Tell me, does this trick look familiar? Ah. Mr. Hat. His voice is killer. What's that? That's the girl's favorite trick, the amazing Mr. Hat. She uses it in her show down at the Wooden Bar, at the Wonder Bar. Have you been to the Wonder Bar? So, yeah, it wasn't a walking dream, was it, sir? Come again? That night on stage, I saw a vision, except it wasn't a vision. It was a hat. An amazing Mr. Hat! He really exists! Oh my god. I remember it clearly, though the details are a little vague. Zack Gramier exited the courtroom. I gave chase and cornered him in the corner room, sir. Zack Gramier! Don't even think you can escape, Meekins! Down on your hands! Floor on your head! Hello?
Something the matter, mister?
No, that is... sir, I'm currently chasing a suspect, sir. Zach Ramier, do you know him?
Oh, I love Zach Grenier. His magic is the best. I'm his biggest fan.
I see. That's why you're wearing the costume you're wearing? Anyway, that very same Zach came into this room.
No one's been here except me.
But he has to be in here somewhere. Under the sofa, in the trash can, behind the painting, under the rug. So, Trucy was his accomplice. Imagine my astonished surprise when 1 week later, I just happened to walk into a bar and see him. Mr. Hat. I couldn't believe my own eyes. For a while, I thought it had been a long dream. A dream that lasted a week? But it wasn't the magician who disappeared. It was Mr. Hat. Though it seems complex, what really happened that day was quite simple. You were standing by the door and out came Zach. But that wasn't all. Another person got in on the act, and she was standing in front of lobby number 2. Along with Mr. Hat. And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? So, while you were standing in shock and amazement, the magician rounds the corner and most likely runs through the closet door into lobby number 1. And this is where you come in. You turn the corner in rather lukewarm pursuit at the very moment Trucy runs into lobby number 2. And then all she has to do is tuck away the amazing Mr. Hat. Sir, I only lost sight of him for the briefest of moments. Then I saw that cape! Zach Remier's red cape fluttering like a cape! Astounding, sir! All my days of posing queries and making inquiries and chasing quarries wasted! It was as if I could see them melting away like an ice cream cone left by the side of the road to die! On the scattered remains of measly eaten chocolate parfait! Such sweet sorrows. I'm sorry. I had no idea how much you'd suffer in the captain's case. It's an honor, sir. I've apologized to people many times, sometimes more than once. But this is the first time anyone's ever apologized to me! Actually, about that girl. I'm sort of her guardian now. Is that so? Sir, you should know that I harbor no ill feelings whatsoever in my neighbor. Okay. Just another step on my way from singing in the blues to wearing the blues. Someday, sir, I'll be standing side by side with the great Detective Gumshoe! Miss Meekins, this is a free ticket to the show at the Wonder Bar. If you want... It's an honor, sir. Sir, I can't count the number of things that have been taken away from me, sir. And no one's ever given me anything for free! Right, I'll see you in court next time then, sir. I look forward to it. All eyes were on Zach Gramarye that day in court, until his mysterious disappearance. Now part of the mystery's been revealed, but the magician remained out of sight. It would have been 7 years before I met him again. 7 years until you met him again? What the fuck, Phoenix? Oh my god! Guys, the first case! The first case! He was the gambler! Zach Grelier was the gambler! Oh my god, his face. Oh my god, it's all coming back to me! I'll be taking my leave now. Still have some work to do back at the office. And then I guess I'll go back to my piano. To be honest, it's better when you aren't playing. The frigid culinary dungeon almost feels comfortable. Later then. 2 hours left of my shift. I wonder if we'll get any customers tonight. Do you know who I am? It's him! Who am I? No, but if you hum it, I can play it. Just kidding. I don't do requests. About the different sort of requests, you see, I play cards. Oh, a customer. I was just hoping someone would come in and save me from a night at the Keys.
I seek a true competition. I've heard of the Borscht Bull Club as the place for this. But now I see the rumor is true.
And this is a friend of yours?
Don't mind me. I'm just your friendly neighborhood newsman. He will not be playing tonight. When his business is finished, I shall send him home. This competition will be between us, no others.
Right Talent Agency represents 2 artists.
I'm number 2.
I play piano. Well, sort of. I actually just front for our real talent, which is playing poker. And then the poker game. Oh my god! Trucy's dad's dead! Don't ask me how I got started, I don't remember. But I'm good. Real good. It didn't take long for rumors to get around. Go to the Borscht Club if you want a real game. That guy never lost. People don't come to hear me tickle the ivory. They come to watch me play cards. In this seedy poker club? No, it's a restaurant. We don't play for high stakes. There's no money involved. But real players carry cash, and there's always thirsty. It's a handy source of income for the club owner. Then let's compete. I'll take you to the room.
I am, yeah? But before we go, yes? Let me introduce myself. My name is Shady Smith.
Oh, and I'm Brushel. Spock Brushel, news reporter. Oh, I'm... No.
Phoenix Wright.
Huh?
You must always look a man in the eye when you make your introductions.
You still do not know who I am? Have we met?
Today in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. What are you talking about?
You can't be. But you're Zach Gramarang.
Yes, the reincarnation of the act of the century. Pity I have only an audience of one. You.
Zach Gramarang. This must be a bad dream. In a sense, this guy ruined my life.
You there.
Da?
You will play soon. Ready the room.
Da. I will be preparing the hideout for you. Are you really him? The Zach Gramarang?
Now I'm Shady Smith. Remember this.
How many years has it been now? 6?
It's exactly 3 days from now. It will be 7. I caused you much inconvenience, I fear.
Yeah, you could say that.
Is she well? Trucy, I mean.
She's fine. I've got her working already. Hope you don't mind.
I need hardly express my gratitude, but you have it. This is why I have come. That and to settle a matter of cards.
By which you mean poker. Is he serious?
I despise losing above all else. And so I had decided that I will win tonight no matter what it takes.
I know this guy's type and they're dangerous. Everything about the competition, all else is secondary.
Perhaps we should take this time to talk before we play. I know you have much to ask me. And I you.
We competed that day 7 years ago, too.
Yeah, you must have been surprised. Called it to the detention center out of the blue.
2. 1. Showdown time. Oh my god, it's the same hand!
I lost.
It's only a game of poker. A game I played for a long time.
I only lost twice.
Who was the first?
The man I killed, of course.
You chose your defense attorney by playing poker.
Some are hired, others fired. When you compete, you see a man's true nature. You know what I speak of. I know that you do.
Trucy's power.
Trucy, she is a class of her own.
For 7 years, I played poker here at the Borscht Club, and I've never lost once. I'm good, but not that good. I win because whenever there's a big game, I bring in Trucy. And she sends me signals. Daddy, he's got a good hand. You might have a chance if you act quick. Better call him soon. Can you tell me what her power is? Judging a person's thoughts by reading their reactions is a staple of performance magic. But those are Trucy's lines possesses far greater skill. Her line? Recall you were the second man to whom I've lost. Magnifique Gramier. That was the first time I learned of this power, as you call it. Wait, so you're saying her power is genetic? It's just in the grammar. It's just in the Grammar blood or something? Blood. I'm sorry, but it's not something I told lightly to outsiders. It is nothing you need to know at this time. It's some kind of Grammar secret that... Fine! My dad works at Nintendo! She's 15 this year. She's still trying her best at following your footsteps, you know. I see. When I planned my disappearing act, it was the thought of her alone that gave me pause. Wait, you were planning on vanishing from the get-go? Yeah, for that I must apologize. However, I cannot be found guilty that day because of this. This! Transferal rights. You see the signature? A transferal? That's Magnifique Gramier's signature, isn't it? I hereby give all rights to the secret staging and performance of my magic to the recipient named below. And the recipient's name is you, Zach Gramier. Yes, it is I. Wait, this page looks torn. You recall the diary, yes? First, take a close look at this diary. Oh my God, Zach! You motherfucker! How could I forget? That scrap of paper lost me my attorney's badge! This is the real page that was torn from the book. Magnifique gave it to me that night. You could have told me this earlier, like 7 years earlier! Once again, I must apologize. It was all I could do to prepare for my escape from that courtroom. You cock! The greatest of Magnifique Gramier's illusions are a true art. As such, they are well protected by this document. Only its bearer may perform his illusion on stage. Sounds like a pretty important thing to have if you're his disciple. As the rightful heir to his art, I too want a rightful heir. Rightful? I'm sure you know who I chose as my successor. Your daughter. That is why I risked all the way to come here tonight. Brushel. Sure. Here you go. What's this? A letter passing the rights I have inherited to Trucy. I would have you sign here as a witness. But I'm not a lawyer anymore. And you need a public notary. Besides, I may not look it, but I'm a certified notary. You are? By day, I wear notary's glasses and hunt for news. Also by day, I wear reporter's glasses and notarize. When I take off the glasses, I can see very well. Oh, he wears the glasses at the front. Okay. Your signature, please. This is the first reason I've come here tonight. Ah, I finally figured it out. Now I know why you've come out of hiding only now. It's been 7 years, you said. Precisely. There's a law that covers your situation. After 7 years, missing persons are considered to be legally deceased. So if someone was to vanish from the face of the earth 7 years ago, they would lose all rights as a living person after 7 years from that day. Not to mention all their possessions. Exactly, which is why I'm here. I risk showing my face in public for the sake of this document. Before my 7 years are up, you might say I am securing my daughter's inheritance. But do you really need this document? Wouldn't Trucy inherit your estate automatically? Not in this case, I'm afraid. This case? Yes, I received the performance rights from Magnifique Gramier. However, this was done in secret without witnesses. Before Magni died, 2 potential successors to his repertoire were named. Myself, Zach Gramier, Alan Gramier. Not Trucy. I see, so you do need this document. I have known Brushel since before I vanished. He's a man I trust. Now only 3 know of my rebirth. I took the liberty of looking into Trucy's background and found you had no other close kin. It is as you say. Okay. I was kind of hoping he'd say something about the mother at this point. I know everyone else, but Trucy's mother...
One
is a
debt
mystery.
to society later.
Thanks for the donation. This person in the photo is Trucy's mother? How'd you come by this? Trucy showed it to me. She said her mother was gone. And it is so. Huh? She is gone. What more is there to say? Lots. I know. Whoa, you're still here? According to my in-depth research, Trucy's mother, Magnifi Gramiere's only daughter, end quote. What? Magnifi's daughter? Is that true, Zach? Russell, you say too much. What? Why am I the bad guy? Why? Zach decked him. In any case, Mr. Wright, this discussion is over. Felisa Gramiere, she's the most mysterious of the whole lot. I need to gather me some evidence clearly. Well, the prelude may have been longer than the main attraction. Shall we begin our game? My final competition? Final? Why? As you said, I've come out of hiding today to make this document legally binding. Once that is done, I shall slip once more underground. Without seeing your daughter? It would be best if I did not. 7 years ago, we played. 7 years ago, I lost. I already lost to Magnifi. I do not care to lose to another. I have heard that you never lose. It's just a rumor. Yes, for it's impossible to never lose, unless one has an ancient sleep. As a magician, it causes me no end of irritation. To think a mere lawyer might be out there pulling the wool over so many eyes. Hey, I just signed your document for you. Maybe you could try lightening up? How is that? This is this. In my final competition, I will destroy your perfect record, Phoenix Wright. This will be my final performance. You are warned. This guy's beyond serious. So much for a fun evening of cards. Brushel, leave. But it's your last game. I mean, what a scoop. I punch and I punch, but still it is not enough. I just remembered a future prior engagement. Toodles, gentlemen. Oh, and nice meeting you, Piano Man. Then let us begin, dealer. Duh. You will be witness to our competition. Duh, it is honor for me. Why haven't I seen her around here before? Reminds me, I saw a familiar face as I entered this restaurant. He did not seem to notice me, however. Gavin, I believe was his name. You know him? After a fashion. Listen, Phoenix. One can learn much from true competition. Remember this. The Gramiere power. I was close to understanding it, but I needed more. And I knew where to get it. Trucy's mother. I need to meet that reporter again. That was clear. And one other thing. From the moment my final competition with Zach began that night, a name was running through my head. The name of a man now in prison. A name Zach Gramiere knew. But how? Why? Nice fucking prison cell. Well, it is an unexpected surprise. What errand brings you down to my cramped confines? Gavin. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago? My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tete-a-tete, right? You look well, Phoenix Wright. You too, Gavin. Every time I see an attorney game, I always just think of Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. Looks more like a library than a cell. Life has been full of surprises for both of us. I have no doubt you never expected to lose that attorney's badge of yours. And I'll bet you never expected to wind up here. Shady Smith was the name of the man you killed. Did you know who he really was? Who he was? Zach Gramier. You know, the defendant. I remember him, of course. But you say Smith was Zach. Impossible.
Don't even try to tell me it was a coincidence.
What did I just say? Life is full of surprises, don't you think? After that trial, you were arrested and found guilty, but your motive was never made clear. A mistake I plan to remedy. You're not an attorney anymore, Phoenix Wright. What possible conclusion do you think the investigation of yours can lead to? I killed a man named Smith with a bottle because I am an evil human being. Isn't that enough? Not for me, it isn't. I need to know why you did it, Gavin. You recall that case 7 years ago? Oh yes, the trial where Zach Gramier pulled his famous vanishing act. My brother won his fair share of praise and adoration for that trial, as I recall. Genius prosecutor reveals crooked attorney, was it? That was when I met you, wasn't it? Was it now? The Bar Association Review Board voted unanimously for the strictest punishment. Unanimous, save for one dissenting opinion. Yours. It was my brother who was responsible for putting you in that position, after all. For 7 years, we've been friends. And yet, I still don't understand you. But right, your friendship towards me was never pure. You suspected me then as you still do now, don't you?
Honestly, right now, I'm not sure what I think.
You didn't just brain a guy with a juice bottle for no reason. Persistent, are you? I came here because I remembered something. The night of our game, Zach Gramier mentioned your name, Gavin. That reminds me. I saw a familiar face as I entered this restaurant. He did not seem to notice me, however. Gavin, I believe was his name. After that, he was killed, and I asked you to help me. Because I remembered your kindness back when everyone had turned on me. I seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. It wasn't plastic, it was glass. I have to know. Why did you kill Shady Smith? No, Zach Gramier. Oh, fuck, he's got 5 Psyche locks that are black? Shit. I've never seen Psyche locks like these. Dark, cold, full of despair. Can I even unlock these things? Something wrong, right? No, it's nothing. You shouldn't push yourself so hard. Life is to be taken easy, you know. He's doing his nails. You're thinking, what self-respecting man would use nail polish? Not really. I know appearances are a big thing with you. You know what I say? One cannot live a beautiful life without its beautiful nails. First-rate in all things, except nothing less. That certainly does look like a first-rate nail polish. I like the sparkly bottle. It's crystal. If you're so drawn to it, please have one. It's on me. Guys, what's that? That envelope's been bothering me since I came in here. That's not nice to speak of the people's mail. You get mail in here in jail? That I do, though they read it first, apparently. Still, I'm allowed the pleasure of correspondence. Packages and the like are a different matter, however. Looks like sneaking a peek is out of the question. Okay. 7 years ago, Drew Studio. Oh, this is unimpressive as fuck. I figure you'd come here sooner or later.
I decided on sooner, Misham, was it?
I haven't done anything illegal.
And I didn't come here to whine about past events.
I want to ask you some questions. I suppose you have that right. That day, the entire court descended into chaos. Only you stood still, your eyes calmly watching. I admit, it made quite an impression on me.
I'm used to finding myself in outrageous situations.
Phoenix Wright, was it? I'll answer what I can.
I'm not sure, but it feels like I'm being watched intensely.
Ah, this is my daughter. Vera, say hello. She's gone. Shall we begin then? Judging from this place, you're a painter? Not sadly a profitable one. I've never sold painting. It's a source of considerable embarrassment. I would be able to get by were it only me. Your daughter? Her mother grew weary of me and left. I don't want her to grow up needy, Mr. Wright. That is why I began my other occupation. Forgeries. Don't look at me with those eyes. I know what it is that I do. More than half the paintings they bring me are stolen. And who knows what my copies are used for. But some of your works are paintings, correct? You may not believe me when I tell you this, but that was my first work outside of painting. What? To think it would be used as evidence in a murder trial. I never even imagined the possibility.
Then why did you take the job?
It was well paid. Very well paid. I think he feels worse about it than I do. The past's hard to escape. Honestly, the sooner I can put this behind me, the better. With apologies to you, of course. Sorry, but it's not going to be quite so easy. He's trying to forget what he made. Looks like I'll have to remind him. Your work. Don't try to pretend you forgot. Sure, all you did was make a copy, but that copy might have destroyed the life of an innocent man. I'm responsible too, which is why I have to know. And you have to tell me. I knew it would be difficult to escape this. Then let's talk. Well then, ready to tell me about this work you did? It was unlike anything I had attempted before. I guess it would be a little different from paintings. That is not what I meant. In all my previous work, it was suffice to create a copy. This wasn't a copy? The client gave me two things that day. The first was a sample page as a reference. The second, a printed document I can only surmise was written by my client. So you used the real writing as a reference to reproduce what the client wrote. Yes, as I said, it was my first job at that nature. So, who was your client? As I said in court, I do not know. Really? Even for such a suspicious request? If it was me, I'd want to know as much as I could about the requester. I never met them, not personally, Holy fuck! Seems like you're still hiding something. Something about this work. Let's hear it then. What are you hiding from me, Mr. Misham? I'm sorry, but I really don't know. I've never met the client. True, when I asked the client's name, there were no psychic locks in sight. Regardless, you're hiding something. You have to be, otherwise it wouldn't make any sense. But why are you doing this to me? Well, I made my stand. No backing down now. So what's Misham hiding? Forgery. Obviously, he's covering for his daughter. I can pretty much piece together what it is from what you said. What is it then? You told me what you knew about the client, and I couldn't see any psychic locks. Psycho locks? Is that some sort of asylum security or a new hairstyle, perhaps? But then they did show up, didn't they? Who was your client? As I said in court, I do not know. Really, even for such a suspicious request? It was me. I wanted to know as much as I could about the requester. I never met them, not personally. Not personally. Those words triggered the psyche lock. Again, with the psycho locks, now I really must know what they are. So you didn't... As long as I come to the right conclusion, it doesn't matter how I got there. And your conclusion is... The real forger behind this wasn't you, Mr. Misham. Poppycock! I don't know what you're talking about. That's my work, I tell you. Made here in my studio. Who else could have done it but me? That's the real question, isn't it? If the forger wasn't you, then I don't have many other people to choose from. The real forger of Drew's studio is... his daughter.
Take that!
The real forger is your daughter, Vera Misham, isn't it? Ridiculous! My daughter's only 12 years old, Mr. Wright. I've always been more one for landscapes, not surrealism. Nice comeback, but you're shaking your boots. I've got you now. The only two people with access to the studio are you and your daughter. The psyche locks tell me you're not the forger, which makes your daughter the only possibility. I feel very much on the verge of going psycho-lock myself. I don't know how you knew, but you're right. The one who made this page was my daughter Vera, not I. She's only 12, a genius you might call her. A precocious little girl, outshining her father. There's been a lot of that going on around here recently. I let her play in the studio and she watched me. She taught herself in that way. The drafting tools and the analytical devices I bought when they became necessary, they're my little girl's playthings now. I do attack a bit of fatherly pride. So Vera was the one who made this page. Would she know who the client was then? Actually, the client came once. Here to the studio. What? Why didn't you say so sooner? But their face was covered and they did not want to talk to me. So they talked to your daughter. I will speak only with the artist, the client told me. Then that little girl is the key to our mystery, client's true identity. Okay, what do I do now? Maybe I should talk to her father a bit more. Or is it time to turn my attention to Vera? I suppose there's no sense in rushing things. Let's see if there's any more to get out of Daddy first. Apparently I had to do this. Maybe I'll just sit over here for a little look. Hey, it's a tiny frame! That's an awfully small frame. What's inside it? A stamp? Please don't touch that. I'll get in trouble. That stamp belongs to Vera, you see. She always puts it somewhere you can see it. That's Zack and Malin, the Grammars, isn't it? The post office issued that commemorative stamp last year, when the Grammars were at the height of their popularity. Not anymore. Now that one of them has vanished off the face of the earth. Vera went to see one of their shows when she was quite small. She's been a dedicated fan ever since. She watched them every time they came on TV until the end. I see. That stamp's quite hard to come by, I hear. I still wonder how she got her hands on it. That's a pretty bottle. Don't touch that, please. I'll get in trouble. It belongs to Vera, you see. She always puts it somewhere she can see it. She looks at it often. There's a light pink fluid inside. Nail polish, I'm guessing. Alright, let's talk to Vera. Mr. Misham, I have a request. Let me guess. You'd like to speak with my daughter? Can I? My daughter has never been one to talk to strangers. She's quite shy, extremely so actually, with only one exception, which was, oddly enough, it was that client. I left the studio while they talked. I returned when they had finished, and she was laughing. It was the first time I'd seen anything of the sort. Please let me speak with her. Alright. Uh-oh, this could be tough. Yo, tell me about this stamp, girl. And then there's this. My stamp. Hey, she spoke. She can talk. Yeah, so the stamp. How can I keep her talking? She wants to talk about it. Isn't Troop Gramier amazing? Hmm? Yeah? Oh. I especially like those two, Zack and Valid. I mean, they're just so magical. Aren't they? Aren't they? Yeah, whenever I go to one of their shows, I'm like, whoa, magic! You know?
Me too. Me too. I love them. They're so cool. It's like magic. Yeah.
Alright, she's talking. Not saying much, but it's a start.
I went and saw them with Father the other day. The opening ceremony at the Gramier Museum of Magic. The Gramier...
Museum. They have one of those? I guess it makes sense now they have their own commemorative stamp. So, have you been to one of their shows?
Just once when I was little, with Father. The Gramiers on stage, it was like a dream. Disappearing, reappearing, cutting apart, putting back together. They do it all.
Yeah, maybe you can keep telling me stuff like this. You know, about Zack and Valid.
Oh, sure.
Alright, better get to asking before she changes her mind. Holy fuck, how long does this go on for?
I don't go outside much. I like to paint in here.
Why don't you like the outside?
There's bad people out there.
Well, true, but there are lots of good people too. Actually, I should tell you, she was almost kidnapped once. Kidnapped? Since then, she's been, well, you can see for yourself. She refuses to leave the house. I see. Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. She said she went to the Gramier Museum. With you, in fact. Yeah, actually, she was quite insistent on it, much to my surprise. That was the first and last time she expressed such a desire to me.
That person gave me a good luck charm.
A good luck charm?
For when I absolutely had to go outside.
Yeah, apparently she received something. A gift? From that client, actually. She won't tell me what it was.
Father, I told you to keep that a secret.
From that client, huh? This I have to hear about. So, your father tells me you're good at painting all sorts of things.
I really like painting, a lot. Father's always very happy when I paint them exactly the same.
So you did this too?
Oh yeah, that was my first job.
Your first?
All I used to do was paint the same thing I saw. But this was totally different. The pen slips the way the writer held the pen and the pressure on the nib. I had to use a microscope and analyze it on the computer.
She seems happy. Odd her work was the last nail in the Gramier's coffin. I guess no one told her.
You're the best in the world.
Huh? Oh, you mean the true Gramier? Of course.
Father gave it to me.
Your father? But I asked him about it. He didn't know how you got it.
Oh, I guess I just took it, yeah.
Took it?
Father got a letter from that person.
That person? You mean that letter was from the client?
Oh, we talked about the Gramiers forever that day. I'm sure that's why I was sent that stamp. I didn't want to just send it back, so I took it.
They're a sneaky one, this client. So they were trying to get on her good side. So you met the person that asked you to do this job, and you talked with them. What's this about a good luck charm you received?
I can't talk about it.
Eh.
If I do, it won't work anymore. That's what I was told.
Yeah, but I really, really have to know. Right, time to do some psyche unlocking. Oh, we're about to blow this girl's secrets wide open! You seem to trust this client quite a lot, in fact. Because he gave you this stamp.
No, that's not why. They listened to me, to my problem.
The problem that keeps her inside all the time?
Don't go outside if you don't want to. That's what they told me. But when I absolutely have to go out, all I had to do was use a good luck charm.
Good luck charm that your client gave you. I think I know what your client might have given you, actually. Is this your good luck charm?
Take that!
My dad works at Nintendo. This was what they gave you, wasn't it? The same bottle over there on your desk. Your good luck charm, right?
I heard once cosmetics were once thought to ward off evil. This is a magic bottle. It has the power.
Of course it does. I'll just refrain from commenting on any more on that one. I think I know who gave you that bottle, actually. The one who asked you to do this job. Because this client... It has to be Krista. She recognized him. This man is a friend of mine. Know him? His name is Christoph Gavin. He's a lawyer, actually.
I promised. I promised not to tell. I'm sorry, I can't talk about the client. I promised. Even if I break my promise, the spell won't work.
I don't need a name anymore. I've got my answer. You're pretty confident in this charm, then.
I think they might be the devil.
Huh?
Or maybe an angel.
What do you mean?
I saw it, or I think I saw it, when they gave me this. I saw the devil's face.
Are you saying the client's face looked like the devil's?
No, the client was gentle with a gentle smile.
So where did you see this devil, then?
It was so quick, I don't remember well. But that's when I knew. That person wasn't like any other people. That's why I believe in my good luck charm.
I'm not sure that what this devil she saw was. Partial! She is 9 years old! Well, I think that's all. I'll be leaving now. No, she's 12. My bad. I'm sorry for what happened. If you want to apologize, try my client, Zach Remier.
Did I do something bad?
What makes you think that?
Your eyes, they're sad. Very sad.
I'll put on a smile next time I come, I promise. I hope to see you smile then too, Vera.
Okay.
Take care. Thinking back at my first encounter with the young forger, I witnessed something of my vital importance that day. Of course, by the time I realized it, it was already too late. Jesus Christ, I don't want to end this till we get through all this, but fuck! How much is there of this game? Okay, we're back with him now. I have to hand it to my partner. He knows how to make an excellent talent. Yeah, he made my attorney's badge disappear and he never touched it. Glory Spotlight always leaves someone weeping in the shadows. Yet his very disappearance is itself a revelation. Revealing what? Zach Gramier killed Magnifi. It's as good as signed confession. That's certainly been public opinion's take on it. I grow tired of my cage, and the time of my release is near. I must go unprepared. Planning on jumping back into the magic right away? As long as an audience awaits, with bated breath there will be a valid and also... Yeah? Now the Magnifi's repertoire is mine. Baron Gramier has a tradition to uphold. Is that true? It's not bad, it's new. Essentially, we're going over the events of 7 years ago while also dealing with the present. Because Phoenix lost his job 7 years ago. And now we're just picking up the pieces. Seen in this light, the trial is quite good to me, verdict or no. And you can't pay for that kind of publicity. The suspicion on you hasn't lifted entirely, Valent. After all, you received one of those letters too. You are just as obligated to follow Magnavi's instructions as your partner. So I was, but only Zach Grammar followed them. Let us not speak any more of who shot what. Now that my partner has vanished, the question is moot. I'm more interested in learning something else, actually. What might that be? I want to know what Magnafi had up his sleeve. How could he coerce you and your partner to kill him? The trick up his sleeve? Perhaps you do not know. Know what? A great magician never reveals his secrets. Was that first case winnable in any way? No, we were set up from the beginning. Hold on, I'll be right back. I just need to use the washroom again. This section's taking a while. I didn't think it would be that easy. He's back. Hello. The audience must remain forever in the audience, bathing in the reflected glow of the spotlight. Hold on, you sick fuck. The trick up his sleeve. I'm flying by the seat of my pants on this one. There must be a path leading to the evidence of truth. And that's what I'm going to find. To ask someone to take life, even one not long from this world, that's asking someone to commit murder. Yes, our mentor was fond of dramatic moves and dramatic finales. And he got what he wished. His life was taken. What weakness could be so powerful as to coerce someone into committing murder? My guess, it was a matter of life or death. Got to explain. Your troupe lived in a world of showmanship. The flashier, the better. And flashy so often means danger, doesn't it? Let us make this as painless as possible. If you have proof of this danger, then show it. How about the fucking pistol, you dick?
Take that!
Well, that's one of ours. Specifically designed for your show, I gather. A single bullet, one shot. What are you suggesting? We are magicians, Mr. Wright, not murderers. I'm not crying murder, Mr. Valent. I'm crying something far more tragic. An accident. Zach and Valent's quick draw shoot him. How long has it been since those shots were last heard? Was the shoot 'em canceled because someone might get hurt? Of course. What other reason could there be? Well, it could have been canceled because someone had already been hurt. Fascinating, my Faustian forging friend. But tell me, what can you prove with a single pistol? Well, tell me, what would have happened? Well, tell me, what would have happened if there had been an accident? What if one of your bullets took a life on stage? The performance of magic is not concerned with what-ifs. It is concerned with precision. Precisely whom do you claim was shot? Looks like I've chosen the right path. I just hope he walks in with me. A life was sacrificed to go on that show that might go on. And we'll show some who was. Oh no, did they kill Trucy's mom by accident?
Take that!
A word, if I may. Yeah?
Does it excite you to know to stand at a critical moment in your quest? Yeah, it does. Sort of. Then you'll never make it on stage. You're not fit to be a magician. Give it up. I hadn't actually considered that as a career option. I'm sure you will find something else to while the time.
Wait, no, we have the locket.
Take that!
But that's Zack Gramir's wife and Trucy's mother. Thalassa, I believe was her name. Alakazam! But how can you say this? How can you say she was struck by one of our bullets? Still in denial mode, eh? Thalassa was at the greatest risk of being shot. This clearly shows us how much danger she was in.
Take that!
Troupe Gramir's performance were very, very popular. So popular, they even made a commemorative stamp at the height of your fame.
We were not merely the latest craze. We were an age, a golden age.
It's all here on this stamp. There's Thalassa, yeah? Trucy's mother is missing, I hear. What happened to her?
I don't know.
Part of his memory is still locked up.
There is one thing you're failing to address.
What's that?
As you say, our troop was a world unto itself. If our leader Magnifi was so inclined, he could hide anything he wished with ease. But Mr. Wright... then he would have hated crime, making him an accomplice. Not a great foundation for blackmail.
Valent's got a point. If one of the troop members died in an accident and Magnifi covered it up, his innocence would come into question.
Found the right address, Mr. Wright?
So close, there has to be something. How about Thalassa's death could affect Zack and Valent's relationship with Magnifi?
I see in your eyes you still have something to say. How can you possibly prove more than you've already have?
I'll prove why Thalassa's accident tied with your hand so completely. It's going to take a little knowledge of the players to crack this one. The accidental death of Zack's wife tied both of your hands, and this information proves why Magnifi held so much power over you.
Take that!
It wasn't a question of who shot Thalassa. Thalassa herself was the problem.
What do you mean?
She was Zack Gramir's wife, Trucy's mother, and Magnifi Gramir's only daughter. There was a terrible accident, and the two of you killed your mentor's only daughter. If it wasn't the key to Magni's power over you, I don't know what was. It was an accident!
There's no proof. None at all.
But Thalassa went missing, and your mentor blackmailed both of his disciples. It doesn't take a genius to put one and one together.
Ours was a complex family.
You mean Troupe Gramir?
The Master Magnifique Gramir, his only daughter, and his two disciples.
That does sound like a recipe for disaster, doesn't it?
Do not be tempted into faulty flights of fancy. Yes, there was an accident. But that is all it was. An accident. Zack and Valent's tour de force. The guns blaze, the bullets fly straight towards that beautiful body on stage. And then crash, zing, pow! Into everything but her. Now that is magic. It happened one day when we were practicing. Same trick with a new twist. In tragedy. But as for those bullets stole Thalassa's life, we shall never know the answer. Thalassa disappeared from our lives, and Zack was bereft of his wife. Trucy lost her mother, and Magnifi his daughter.
And that led to blackmail, I take it.
It was all part and parcel of the darkness that comes with the Curtain Falls.
When did Magnifi Gramir try to cover up the accident? It was his own daughter who died.
All I can say is it was a critical time for Troupe Gramir. The passing of the torch from Magnifi to Zack and Valent. We all sacrificed so that it might be a success. Thras's death was the greatest sacrifice of all. Yet, even when her life was extinguished, her presence was not. What do you mean? In time, we, myself and Zack, found, and we could no longer oppose Magnifie's wishes. Magnifie forced us to perform his art for his benefit. I see. I guess I can understand.
I mean, he did lose his only daughter.
But do not find cowardice in his actions.
Huh?
To decide to hide the truth of your own daughter's death is one thing, but then to hang that death as a guillotine above our heads.
Things were dark behind the scenes of True Gameray, that's for sure.
Does Trucy know? She was not told, naturally. Who would want to know that their father might have taken their mother's life?
True.
I had not thought of that accident for a very long time.
I'm sorry to dredge up old memories, but this has helped a lot.
Not to find Magnifie's slayer, I should think.
True.
After that accident, there was one who came sniffing quite persistently.
A reporter?
He called himself a newsman at the time. Often I spied him lurking about the dressing room, doing his research.
Would you happen to remember his name?
What was his name? Sorry, I have forgotten. But in the course of this interviewing, he'd become quite close to my partner Zack. I liked him not.
I see.
His name, I do not recall, but his scent, the cloying aroma of mint.
Brush!
Yes, whenever he smiled, which was far too often.
I see. Thanks for your help.
It does no good to interfere with my past, Mr. Wright. You will not uncover answers, only wounds.
I'm sorry. I began to notice a dark curtain hanging over Troupe Gramier. I began to realize what I had to do. I had to protect Trucy from the darkness. The reporter you mentioned, the newsman, I never learned who that was at the time. But I've got a pretty good idea who it is now. That smile and that sickly sweet smell of mint. That last floss-thin thread connecting Zack Gramier to this world. Sooner or later, I'd have to track him down. Alright, we're almost done. 2 more. And then I can end stream. Holy shit, this has been going on for so long. Present day, Drew Studio. Ah, well, what do we have here? Remember me? Of course I remember you. Journalist meets ex-attorney in bar, end quote. Can I ask what you're doing here? Mr. Misham was poisoned and his daughters. Oh, yeah, I know. I know, yeah. It caused me no end of grief, to be honest. Journalist wishes he tracked down Case just a little quicker, end quote. Were you on the trail of this case the whole time? Zack Gramier was a good friend. Zack said something to that effect back at the Borscht Bowl Club. What a character, what a man. If a little, no, a lot, no, extremely rough around the edges. Do you think I could ask you a few questions? Oh, are you serious? I mean, I'm usually the interviewer, not interviewee. Journalists ask questions, not other way around, end quote. Fine, shoot, but I don't care. People have been asking me all sorts of things lately. It was tragic what happened to Drew Misham and his daughter. Forgery is a serious crime, and they paid the price. You know what really did them in, though, don't you? Yeah, forged diary page. That night I interviewed him. I found out something about Mr. Misham I hadn't known. I always felt like he was being watched. Every day, for 7 years. Walls have ears, potatoes have eyes, end quote. Being watched? You mean he felt guilty? No, I'm not talking about feelings here. You know, I felt watched, too. The whole time I've been on this case, no less. Journalist gets tingling sensation on the back and neck, freaks out. Because he felt guilty? Why would I feel guilty? You felt like you were being watched, huh? I wonder what it all means. Drew Misham felt like he was being watched? And you along with him. You sure it wasn't just nerves? Nerves? Oh, it's nothing so mundane. I stopped paying attention to my nerves a long time ago. But I felt it too. Journalist sure he's being watched. Don't you wonder why Zach Grammerair got rubbed out after 7 years? Right after coming into contact with me? He completely vanishes from that courtroom. Then for 7 years, he talks to no one, not a soul. Then just as the remaining time was almost up, he contacts me in order to have this made. And then he dies. Trying to put the pieces together, aren't we? And you were being watched this whole time? Maybe, not just me. Maybe you were too. Me? I met Zach through that case, actually. You mean the shooting of Magnifique Gramier? No, before that. It's not a widely known. You mean the accident? During the quick draw shooting practice? My, you're well informed. You should have seen me back then. I dug up quite the scoop. I wanted it all. Money, fame, women, a little puppy, all for me. Yeah, I was younger then, and my days and nights smelled of fresher mint than they do now. Valent Gramier did mention one particularly nosy reporter. In fact, I was on close speaking terms with Magnifique Gramier at the time. I knew his daughter too, of course, Thalassa, was it? Really? Then Thalassa disappeared, quite suddenly at that. And Magnifique wouldn't say a word about it. Yeah, my evil habit got the better of me. Journalists catch a scent of a scoop, goes on feeding frenzy. I set up a one-on-one interview with Thalassa's husband, Zach Gramier. There's something strange was in the air of a Troop Gramier in those days. The whole screwy mentor-controlling disciple scene started by then, I'm guessing. Thalassa, she was part of it all, right? Come on, you can tell me. You can tell me off the record. Sorry, I don't know. Anyway, I kept prying and eventually became friends with Zach. Sure, he punched me once or twice, or 5, but other time he came to see me as his confidant. He's been waiting this whole time, 7 years, eh? Waiting. For his big comeback, of course. The big revival of Magnifique Miracle. Of course it was all street. Because of this. The performance rights. In the absence of any official documents, he was golden. Who's to say old man didn't give his rights to both Zach and Valent? So Valent waited until Zach died legally, at least. The time finally comes, and Valent, like a kid on Christmas morning, he's getting ready for a show at Sunshine Coliseum, you know. As that document sees legal light of day, it's going to put a bit of a damper on the big show. He's a sorry one, that Valent Gramier. Lost out to his partner at work, and in love, too. Love? It's the same old story, really. 2 disciples and the mentor's only daughter. What was 3 sides of a old pointy, a love triangle? That is pretty classic. When you're in performing troupe, that's your world. It's like family. One with an entire high school's worth of drama, intrigue, and backstabbing. In the middle of all this, Thalassa has Trucy. And then she dies. I need to find out more about Thalassa. Mr. Brushel, do you know this person? Do I know that person? Of course! I was friends with Zach, after all. He hit me a few times. But still, I never forget his wife. Thalassa Gramier. Magnifique Gramier's only daughter. Do you think you could tell me more about her? Well, why the heck not? So, Thalassa married Zach and had Trucy, see? It was her second marriage, actually. You mean she was divorced? I hadn't heard this one before. Not quite. Her late husband was a performer, too. Apparently, he died during some gig. Tragic, really. They had only been married 1 year. I didn't know. But she was a beauty. I still carry a portrait photo of her around, you know. Wait. Wait, that bracelet's familiar. I've known Trucy since she was a little... thing, too. She got the better deal, really. She's got you for family, after all. What do you mean? Just reminiscing, you know? Thalassa has another child besides Trucy. End quote. No! Her wristbands. Her wristbands in that picture. Apollo has one of them. Oh my god! But Trucy said she was an only child. Oh yeah, this one she had with her previous husband. Her previous husband? Her first husband who died during the performance? Yep, they had themselves a kid. Another orphan now. That's another one who slipped through the cracks. No idea where they are now. Wait, what's going on? I blanked out. So, Apollo has a bracelet that allows him to perceive people like Trucy can. The only people who have that ability are children of the Gramier bloodline. Trucy's mom has the bracelets that Apollo has. Thalassa had another child. Do you think I can borrow that photo? Sure, I can be generous on occasion, you know. Here, I'll show you. I won't need this locket anymore. Better return to Trucy before I forget. People and events all get tangled together and get bigger and bigger. Don't you think? Yeah, here, see, I'll show you. Look at the bracelets. They're the fucking same! Apollo and Trucy are half-siblings! This changes a shit ton. Oh my god, that's why their fucking dialogue felt very bantery between siblings. I was too busy wondering about Bigger to listen to what you were saying. But sometimes you just gotta accept that you won't be able to untag it all, I think. Maybe so, but still. I have to do what I can. And I have to tell what I find to those who come next. Next, you say? I'm not the one who will close the curtains on this little play. Apparently that's not my role anymore. Magnify. I was just wondering what Magnify would think of all this. What do you mean? Have you seen it in Trucy? She's got his power. You mean how I can't lie to Trucy? It was the same with Magnify, and with his daughter, Thalassa. It's a strange thing, you think. It's some Gramarye gene? Magnify told me once, back when Zack married Thalassa. He said Zack had good eyes. But not good like Gramarye's eyes. Not that good. I wonder if Zack ever played a game of poker with his wife. Who knows what the Gramier secret was? There may be nobody, now that Zack's gone. Zack Gramarye. Oh my god. The plot finally begun to reveal itself. It sprouted from a warp in Gramarye's fabric and grew swallowing everything, wrapping itself around Gramarye's power. Oh my god! The power which passed from Magnify Gramarye to Thalassa to the next generation. Now, once again, need to meet. The one who bridged it all together. Alright, motherfucker, you got some shit to explain. Maybe I should have watched the stream. What? Why not? We're having fun. It's like she can see right into people's minds. The first time I saw her do it, it blew mine. And after you were done having your mind blown, you took her to play cards with you. I gotta use resources hands, I always say. And I myself have no such power. But Trucy does. Why's that? Maybe Trucy got her power from her mother? Thalassa Gramarye? I will not speak of that. Thalassa is officially missing, correct? I think I know why you don't want to talk about her. The gun! The three of you were a team once. Not that the entire country doesn't already know this. At your peak, you were the biggest stars around. Yet, there's another story behind the fame, one that not many know. Thalassa lost her life during a rehearsal to you and Valiant Grammar's bullets. It was an accident. It wasn't me. How could I shoot my dear Thalassa? I'm sure Valiant would say the same thing. Why, it's just like another murder I might mention. Damn you. Her eyes. I loved Thalassa's eyes. To think they could read my mind was frightening. Yet there was a warmth in them that felt like an embrace. She is dead, and Magnifique Grammar joined her. So the only one with her power left now is Trucy. Mr. Zack? I do not know. I don't need any power to see through that one, buddy. So there's someone else. Someone other than Trucy. Someone who inherited Thalassa's power. How would I know? My chances are slim. It'll take a miracle to learn the truth. Or maybe one has already occurred. There is someone else with the power, and I know who.
Take that!
This boy. His name is, I forget, something weird. Who could he be? An attorney. Attorney? I noticed him when I went to visit a friend's law offices. So, what are we to make of this, oh great ex-attorney? You can show me pictures of strange boys all you like, but you could at least say something like, I'm this boy, I could use a laugh. Perhaps you wouldn't laugh if you knew the facts. This might not be 100% proof, but it's close. There's a link between this boy and Thalassa. Actually, it's more of a ring. A ring? Perhaps this will refresh your memory. I just so happen to have evidence showing this missing link.
Take that!
Her fucking wristbands! Actually, I know something. Your marriage to Thalassa was her second. How did you know this? Her first husband. He died a year after they were wed, yeah? He was a performer. They met when he joined his Grammarys as a guest in our show. After Thalassa wed him, she left the troupe for a while. And you say she had a child then. I have a photograph of her here. I couldn't help but notice what she was wearing when I first saw this. Wait, does she have both of them in... No, she doesn't have either of them in this. Those bracelets stand out. They are Grammar family's heirloom. This boy wears a bracelet just like the ones in the picture. What? So, that's why. Why what, Mr. Zack? I took this photograph of Thalassa before she left us. When she returned, she wore only one bracelet. I bet I know where the other one went. She gave it to this boy. Her son. Oh shit, it broke both! This strange power, I myself do not know where it comes from. And the fact is that it passed down the Grammar line. It runs in their veins. What is it? I asked her at Thalassa once. This is what she told me. Her power responds to tension in others. Tension? If she were to face a person and they became tense, even slightly, she would know, no matter how hard they tried to hide it from her. So she could see it. Not quite. This is the strangest part of all. She wouldn't realize that she was subconsciously detecting this tension without the use of a particular object, or in case, objects. Objects? Wait, were they something she wore? Yeah, her bracelets. I admit the first time I saw one of those, I felt there was more to it than just fashion. But what kind of power could a bracelet have? I have made a decision. I will tell you all I know. Consider it a gift. Well, I hardly need you to tell me at this point, but those two are brother and sisters, yeah. And the brother, too, has the power of theirs. So Trucy has an older brother. I wonder what will come of that. Mr. Wright, tonight after our game is done, I will return to a life of hiding. I would not see her live her life without knowing. I understand. I'll tell the two of them when the time is right. I am in your debt once again. No kidding. What I want to know is how all this got to be so messed up. Those bracelets are made of a special alloy. It is said to expand and shrink very slightly in response to body's warmth. So they're temperature sensitive or something? Yeah. This is how they can shrink to the exact size of their wearer's wrists. And this has something to do with the power? What have I told you? The Grammar power reacts to tension in others. When a Grammar senses tension, they too become tense. And this tension translates to minute contractions of the muscles. So minute that you cannot sense it on their own. They're muscles. Oh, so that's what the bracelets are for. With a bracelet on, one can sense their contractions. Because the bracelet is always a perfect fit. So when the person they're watching gets tense, the bracelet feels tighter on their wrists. Precisely. But that alone doesn't really count as mind reading. I believe I understand how the process works from there. It's a simple question of eyesight. Eyesight? This sounds simple enough. Have you heard of kinetic vision? Something about the ability to see moving objects with full clarity, right? I've heard of it before. They say athletes can see a moving ball like it was stopped as if they focus. But it's not confined to sports alone. It all relies on the ability to focus. When we focus, we can see many things. The faintest twitch of the face, the meaning that lies behind it. Therein lies one of the secrets of magic. Yes, magic exists in this world! We have ghosts, god damn it! One must know the mind of the crowd before one may distract it. So basically, what you're saying is, the Grammars can see really well. For them, seeing is more than believing, it is knowing. Their power relies on eyesight combined with exceptional focus. The things are starting to come into focus for me too. Of course, it is difficult to maintain such levels of focus for any length of time. What if someone could tell you when to focus? Or something. Precisely. But wait, Trucy doesn't have any bracelets. You are talking about poker, yes? The timing of when to focus is so elementary, she probably does it without thinking. I doubt Trucy herself has realized this. That is all I know of things Grammar. Thank you, Mr. Zack. This boy's bracelet is the real thing, and he will use it before long, thereby awakening his power. I'll keep that in mind. Well, shall we play a game? I've said so much. Let me say one more thing. I will tell you of that night. That night. The night my mentor Magnifique Gramier passed from this world to the next. There were 2 pistols, and the 2 letters sent. This was Magnifique's test. A test? In his last years, Magnifique Gramier worked us to the bone. No, to the pain. But that night, I could not shoot him. So I shot the clown's forehead instead. This, it seems, was the correct answer. Take this. I give my heart to you, Zack. What? Thanks for playing along with my show. You shot well tonight, Zack. Though I would not have minded dying by your hand. How could I shoot you? You were my mentor. Bah! I thought you might say that. If I went home without shooting anything, what would you have done then? And of course, I would have given Valent a chance. If I had shot you in the forehead instead, then it would be over. If you or Valent were to shoot me in the head, I too the darkness would go, and my heart with me. A fitting end, don't you think? Yet this ending too gives me no cause for regret. I thank you, Zack. And I'm sorry I've done much that may have wronged you in my day. It seems to me that Magnifique wanted you to be his successor all along. That's why the time he gave you was earlier than Valent's. Perhaps, but it's not something we will ever know for sure now. I wonder what is Valent up to these days. Waiting for you to die. If 7 years pass like this, performance rights go to him. Now here I am, and his dream is ended. It's worse than that, actually. Public opinion's a fickle thing, you know. What? You don't mean to tell me they put the blame for our mentor's death on him? The trial ended when you vanished, Zack. There were even rumors that Valent had helped you pull it off. But that's madness. Well, it seems that before I can once again disappear from this world, I have one more act to perform. Isn't it odd that sorting out my life should prove so complicated, even though I'm dead? That night, Zack Gramier was killed. He died as Shady Smith, a mysterious traveler with a secret past. But he left one thing behind before he parted. This. To whom it may concern, 7 years ago, 7 years passed. I, Zach Gramier, murdered my mentor, Magnifique Gramier. I apologize for the trouble caused by my sudden departure from the court, and hereby confess to my crime. Of course, he'd killed no one. This was his way of tying up loose ends with his old partner, Valant Gramier. Why are all Japanese mystery games weird? I don't fucking know! Well, this is a blast from a distant past. Long time no see, Valant. 7 years has it been? Frankly, I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Actually, I came here because something I want to ask you. I've spoken to the press. I have nothing more to say. I've spoken to a lot of people myself and come to some conclusions. Then I realized I needed to hear it from you. I have walked a difficult road this past 7 years because you couldn't perform Magnifie's repertoire. Do not be deceived. Valant's skills are the real deal. I do not require my mentor's hand-me-downs. No, it was my partner who showed me on my way. Zach. His rather well-performed disappearing act 7 years ago was the end. Or so I thought. Zach Gramier murdered our mentor and fled to escape punishment for his crime. You said something to that effect 7 years ago, didn't you? I remember as if it were only yesterday. Yet that was not the way of it in the end. For while he vanished, the suspicions upon my own person never did. His partner Zach vanished to protect him. That's what those thieving magpies in press said. I had no idea. And that very same press comes to me now, feigning interest. They cover the greatest magic show in history as if it were a vaudevillian distraction. And here I must stand smiling at them. What am I if not a player in some fiendish farce? Might I suggest it's because you never made it clear what happened? Magnifie's death is still a mystery to this day. Which is why I came here to get answers from you. I knew I'd better be seeing these sooner or later. The audience has no business stepping upon the stage. They must be content to sit and stare at the spotlight. That sounds an awful lot like something I'd heard 7 years ago. Please tell me we're almost done. Holy shit. Ask what you will. You will get nothing from me. I'm as much part of this affair as you are now. I have to know what happened. For 7 long years I have endured. Now finally the curtain lifts on my new golden age. All the miracles of our troop within my grasp. Sorry to do this, Valant. Right now, I need answers. And I think I'll start by dropping a bomb that should shake things up. Valant, I wouldn't be so sure about those miracles. Not as long as I have this.
Take that!
You're not getting it. What might that be? I see it bears a Gramier seal. I should have brought this to your attention sooner, but I didn't imagine you'd be planning your comeback quite so fast. What is this? A document showing the true recipient of the performance rights to Magnifie's miracles. What? Zach Gramier? He wrote this? What? He passed everything to his daughter? Trissy and Nigmar. Actually, she's officially my daughter these days. Preposterous! Zach is gone! Vanished into the void! This is the genuine article. Zach was alive when he wrote this. Both myself and the notary can testify. What? Why? Why does fate toy with me so? Why must my life be lived in the thrall of the dead? You're not the only one with that problem. But he shot Magnifie, yes? It was Zach, it was! And then he left, and my career as a magician fell into darkness. Do you think there might be some way out of it? Say if you could prove Zach Gramier shot Magnifie? Is that why you testified? Yes, my way out! It should have been my way out. Well, it might not be too late, Mr. Valant. All you need is a way to prove your case. Who really killed Magnifique Gramier?
Take that!
I believe I have the answer to your prayers right here. Zach Ramier wrote one more thing before passing on. This is a confession, in which he admits to killing Magnifique Ramier. See, all according to your plan. I am a magician by trade. Deception is my life's work. I fool the audience, give them a fleeting dream. Yet it seems the tables have turned. Now I am the audience believing in the deceptions I have wrought upon myself. Zach wrote this right in front of me. After I explain your situation to him. Alaka. Zoom! You do know that this confession is nothing but lies. Yes, it's my opinion that Zach Ramier killed no one. Then you must be thinking the truth is a simple matter of elimination. 2 received instructions to kill, but what if one is innocent? Then the one who remains is guilty? That would be the logical conclusion, yeah. So he vanished to protect me, his partner. A stringing tale, 'tis true. Did you shoot Magnifique Ramier in the forehead? If I had and I told you, what would you do? Run to the police, perchance? Do as you will, there is nothing left for me now. It is true, after all. I have little talent. I needed my mentor Magnifique's repertoire. It was as if a little demon grabbed a hold of me. I knew it. So Valak Ramier did kill the great Magnifique. So sorry, Mr. Wright. But it was not I who shot my mentor. What? But if it wasn't you, then who was it? There wasn't another disciple. Well, there wasn't another disciple, was there? Another disciple such as, I don't know, Mac and Talent's Grammary, maybe? Your wild fancy is going to be further from the truth. Only Zack and Valent received those threatening letters. But there was another. One more person could have fired that pistol that night. I don't suppose you figured it out by now. It wasn't Zack or Valent, it is a possibility. When I arrived that night, the old man was still alive. He appeared to be asleep. I could not shoot him. But when I turned and made it to leave the room, the old man called out to me. So you fought with Magnifique Ramier? Yes, and this is why I knew what he had done. Magnifique transferred the rights to his repertoire to my partner Zach Ramier, not me. I see. Then I guess I owe you an apology. I always thought you were the one who did it. You owe me no apology. Huh? My crime was, in a way, more serious than that of a murderer. What? Your crime? Is Valak Ramier confessing? What could be more serious than murder? You see, I knew that 2 letters had been sent. There are no secrets between partners. It was easy to find out. That was when I understood Magnifique's plan. He wanted to die by one of your hands? Little did I expect it had anything to do with the rights to his repertoire. That was when I heard it. The little demon whispering inside my heart. The demon. Let me confess, I had intended to shoot Magnifique. And I planned on framing my partner for the crime. What? That night, I prepared something before going to Magnifique's hospital room. Which was? IV fluid, of course. I'd seen it on the earlier visit. If Zack did not shoot, I would do the deed. Then I would use the IV liquid to place the murder on his hands. That was my plan. But you didn't shoot him. I could not. The demon in my heart fled when the moment came. But then Magnifique called me back. I'm sorry, Harriet. I'm giving my magic to Zack, not you. You still like the draw he has. Please help him if you can. I left the room, and then I stopped. The shock of what had just been told consumed me. That is when I heard that fateful gunshot. Magnifique Ramier killing himself. Then the demon awoke anew within me. Zack killed him. He was the one. Frame him, and the magic will be yours. I altered the scene of his suicide. I took the pistol from his hand, wiped off the prints, then I used the syringes to add the IV liquids I brought. So in the end, things happened pretty much as planned. Magnifique died, and you framed Zack for his murder. As planned indeed. Of course, the outcome was somewhat different than I had anticipated.
Well, what do you think? Do you believe my story? Can it be believed, truly? That was 7 years ago. I don't know what to believe, but yes! I'm glad I heard it from you, Mr. Mallet. Thank you. It is I who should be thanking you, Mr. Wright. Only when I had lost everything could I make my decision. You're gonna turn yourself in? My partner may have vanished, but not as so my guilt. And as my guilt stays, all else begins to leave me. My friends, my performance rights, my magic. I've had enough of vanishing acts. I understand. I thought my life was ruled by a dead man, but I find I was wrong. For Zack Ramier was alive. Well, not anymore. But now it occurs to me, what if he's not the only one who survived? What do you mean? See, now that I think about it, I realize that No, we never saw proof of her demise. We never saw her body. Her? The mind races and the mouth flaps on. My apologies, forget this matter. I only hope that the day will come when I again meet my partner, Zack Ramier. And I shall apologize for my terrible mistake. I am glad we had this chance to talk. Thank you.
Zack Ramier, Shady Smith, which names you prefer, he's no longer with us. The truth revealed in that trial was only a sliver, and the impermeable darkness that remained had taken another wife. I knew what I'd have to do to push back the darkness for good, and it would involve paying that man a visit. Final fucking thing! Jesus Christ! Okay, Gavin, how are you tied to all of this? Sorry, sir. President Christoph Gavin is currently occupied. I see. Do you know when he'll be back? Well... Could you go find out? Certainly, sir. Please wait here a moment. My apologies to the guard. There's something I need to see. There it is, the yellow envelope. And the sender is Drew Misham. I was right! When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. It was a yellow envelope. I heard it was left at the crime scene. This is the last letter that Drew Misham wrote. But there's something I need to do. Last thing I need to do, in fact. Here goes. Let's see if this atrocrin spray finds anything. So this was Drew Misham's messenger of death. It was this stamp, all right, no mistaking it. And this last letter was sent to Christoph Gavin. The interview request came like you said it would, and then looking into the case, I swear on my life, I won't tell them about you, so please release the spell you put on my daughter. I'll write later with a report. Gotcha. Finally, decisive evidence. What's this? A burglar in jail. Gavin! I didn't know you moonlighted in larceny, right? Gavin, there's something I have to ask you. Can I steal your stuff? The answer is no. My apologies, but there's not much I care to discuss. Vera Misham hasn't received her verdict yet. You follow me, Gavin? There are no survivors of atrocin poisoning, but it never hurts to hope. Okay, I'll be leaving now then. Right, wait. Yeah, Gavin? Would you mind leaving the letter? It's private. Oh, sorry. Forgot I had it. Many thanks. Oh, that's a camera! We've now seen all the clues in this case. Clues I gathered over 7 long years. Now it's time. Every story has an ending. We've come to the final chapter. The final trial. Find the truth. You're the only ones who can. Oh my god! There was so much in that! Holy shit! I'm exhausted. Holy fuck. Holy shit, game. Well, might not be a lawyer, but he still got it. This is fucking wild. Holy shit. All the cases are connected. Each and every one of them. Oh my god. What the fuck, game? Holy shit! My brain hurts! Oh my god, okay. Tomorrow, we will be streaming Helldivers 2 with, Tomorrow we'll be streaming Helldivers 2 with our friend Lasgar Lockman. Sorry, Zach. I've already made plans for tomorrow to stream with Lasgar. It'll be a later stream, because he's an hour behind me. So we'll be playing late into the night with him. Oh, shit! That was close. So yeah, we'll do that. We're doing that tomorrow with Helldivers. But Saturday... Fuck, I cannot leave this game hanging. We will be playing this on Saturday. Holy fuck. But again, I thank you all so much for coming. I appreciate you guys for sitting here for like 3 fucking hours with me. Holy shit, chat. Like, oh my god. Jesus Christ, that was a lot, honestly. Like, oh my god, what the flying fuck? But yeah, tomorrow is Helldivers with Laz and whoever else we play with, and Saturday we'll be wrapping up the first game in the Apollo Justice trilogy. So, I will talk to you all